right, Benchwarmers, listen up. It's going to get hot at the ballpark, hot at the gym, and hot at your kid's sports practice. So you need something that does two things at once. Keeps your drink cold and lets you rep your squad in style. That is where Frost Buddy comes in. With Frost Buddy, you can represent your favorite college teams from Alabama all the way to Xavier while keeping your drinks colder than a small forward missing 12 shots in a row. And if you are keeping something warm, they can do that too. Hotter than a center who just made 12 straight in the paint. The Universal XL Frost Buddy can handle almost anything. Traditional 12-ounce cans, Gatorade, sports drinks, slim cans, tall boys, Arizona iced tea cans, and even bottles. That is why they call it Universal. And to cap it all off, literally, you can add a 100% leak-proof lid, the perfect finish, just like your favorite team closing out a big win. And speaking of favorite teams, Frost Buddy has you covered there. MLB fans can pick their favorite team and choose from styles in the Cooperstown Collection or Legacy Collection. More of an NHL fan, Frost Buddy and All Gloves Off Sports Media have you covered with 120 styles of Universal Buddies and To-Go Buddies, plus your favorite NCAA teams. And it gets even better. Frost Buddy has 40,000 plus reviews, a 30-day free trial, and free shipping on orders over $60. Not buying for a sports fan? No problem. They also have several 32-ounce bottle buddies and full rainbow of designs, perfect for as a gift for people in your life who may not be locked in on the game day like you are. They come with a sip and chug lid, no slip bottom, a detachable strap, and yes, they are cup holder friendly. So scan the code, chill the liquid, and rep your team with a great combination of Frost Buddy and All Gloves Off Sports Media. You are covered wherever game day takes you. Go to frostbuddy.com/redhotreds and get yours today. That's frostbuddy.com/REDHOTREDS and get yours today.
If you don't stay down and you never quit, come on over here and sit on the far end of the bench.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, this has to feel much better. I appreciate you guys tuning in last week when it was just myself. We had a huge football conversation. I'll call it a football powwow. We talked Joel Klatt's top 10 going into the preseason. I don't know your feelings. I don't like the media polls in the preseason. I'd rather go find somebody that I know and trust their opinion. So we talked about that. I broke down the NFC North, got a lot of our All Gloves Off fans kind of riled up because we have Vikings fans in that group now. We have Packers fans in that group now. I told them both that they were not going to win the division, and I said that Detroit was going to be back on top. And one guy made a video and took it, and he's like, "Oh, this is how it's going to happen." I was like, "Well, first of all, you didn't follow my rule. You had to have you must be this tall to ride sign now that Kyler Murray is going to be your quarterback." I'm digressing. Niko is back. He is well rested, and he's also heading to the playoffs. We're going to talk about that. Playoffs. Trying to win a damn game.
Yeah, my body's catching up to me, unfortunately. So I appreciate you holding down the ship. The long summer of travel after the long winter of travel kicked my ass. So it's nice. Thank you for holding the ship down. But yeah, I'm ecstatic to get back.
That should be a segment we do next week next summer and do debates. And like, would you rather have adjacent seasons that you work in or just coach like 4 teams in the one season? Because both are going to be stressful and draining. But when you do adjacent seasons, you never stop. So there is a conversation to be had about that. We are going to talk Colorado college football because, surprise, surprise, none of these 3 teams ended up in the top 10 rankings from last week. And we're going to break down the AFC North. So that's why I'm back in all my Bengals gear. I'm in my Anthony Munoz jersey. This is the one that I bring out because you can't say anything. He's the only Hall of Famer in franchise history. You can't say anything to me. I will continue to wear this one, whether it's good or not. The Burrow one might be moving itself maybe down the roster a little bit, depending on how things go. When we get to that,
you don't want to get a jersey of the guy who turned out to be an actor. You don't want to do that. I didn't even know his name. The guy who quit football because he was going to get cut and said, "I want to go back to acting."
No,
the guy who everyone's
I'll give everybody a teaser now. My teaser for when we get to the AFC North and the Bengals in the first preseason game. By the way, this is the first time under Zach Taylor that the starters started the first preseason game for the Cincinnati Bengals. They were pressured 24.5% of the dropbacks.
Good.
So it's not better. And I don't know why anybody expected it to be better because they literally brought back all the same 5 offensive linemen. Reisner's back at our guard position. We still have Ted Karras, who is much
removed from his prime seasons out in New England. It's going to be a fun conversation when we get to it. And this will be our celebration. We are now into year 7 of the show. I was telling everybody last week, 6 years ago last week, I was sitting in, I guess a little bit longer, but I was sitting in your kitchen. We were coming up with names, trying to think of how this was going to go. I saw a lot of your family members this weekend at a gathering that we were all at, and I was talking to your mom and your dad, and I was telling the story of when your dad sat in the kitchen while we tried to record one episode, and he got up. He's like, that shit was terrible. You guys don't talk like that. That was just bad. You guys got to fix that. I was like, yep, no, sir, you're right. You're very right on that.
You're right. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah. And we'll have some big news. You just messaged me one of the headlines that we'll throw in, but we also have the Jayden Daniels cease and desist saga that continues on.
We are skipping episode the number after 4 from here on out. So we'll always jump from 294 to 296.
I did 285 last week without understanding the ramifications of what happens. I don't want Jayden Daniels' mom coming after us.
We have
There's a lot of people that I'm okay pissing off. She's not one of them.
We're working on it. We have a cease and desist coming out for that, not using the number 5, so we apologize.
Yeah, no, it'll be corrected. It won't happen again. Make sure that you follow us on all social medias at FeOTB Pod. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're watching this on the All Gloves Off Sports Media Network, subscribe to that channel as well, and then go check out our channel. We have clips, different types of videos. We posted this verses from the entire summer. We're done with those now because we're into preseason football. We're going to have plenty to talk about, so there's no more need to fill time or anything like that. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Rocky Mountain kickoff, CU, CSU, and Air Force. We're going to go in order of size of the program. So I say that, and I say that very deliberately, and this is going to make a lot of you Boulderites mad. If it were based on merit of the program, it would go Air Force, and then it would be a toss-up between CU and CSU at this point. Because Jim Moore Jr. is in for his first season at CSU. You have Prime and going, I guess I'm actually not going to call him Prime unless they turn themselves around. You got Dion coaching the Buffaloes for his 4th season. Troy Calhoun, when I was doing my research, he's been the head coach of the Air Force Falcons for 20 years. That program has had 2 head coaches in their 43-year history. So both coaches are at a 20-plus year run. That is the most consistent, most successful, like not playoff games or championship games wise, but Air Force is quite literally almost always bowl eligible and playing in the postseason. Last season was tough. We'll get to that. But we're going to start in Boulder. It is a tough go because you were voted once again to be the laughingstock of the Big 12. You finished last season with a 3-9 record. 4 guys started at quarterback, and none of them did very good. We had Pat Shurmur at offensive coordinator. He's gone, so that's at least something. You had Warren Sapp helping out on the defensive side of the ball. He's gone, so I think that'll be addition as well. The new offensive coordinator is Brendan Marion. He's bringing what he calls his go-go offense. I believe it's from San Jose State or San Diego State, one of those 2 teams. And the new defensive coordinator is Chris Marv. This is the first time that Dion has set himself up to actually have legitimate coaches under him, and it's not based on name value or how much money or how many seasons you spent in the NFL. Is this, I guess, where do you stand with this right now? Because we're going into year 4, and it's been pretty disappointing outside of maybe 1.5 seasons. There's been a lot more disappointment than the Louis that we were promised.
I would say half a season, like not even 1.5. I'd say half a season where they were the hottest team in college football. Game day was here, The Rock was here, everyone was great. I would say half a season. Then the conference play of the Pac-12, the previous Pac-12 happened, and got shot down real quick back down to earth very fast. And Bo Nix and Oregon cooked. I think it was Bo Nix still at that point. And Washington with Penix cooked them. Like it was a whole different whirlwind of different things. And they finally, like now they're at a point where you got your ass kicked the last couple of years and you've been a laughingstock. And it's funny. Like the only things that I've heard about this program this offseason from the team as a guy who doesn't obviously like keep track of college football as much as you do, and someone that's from the outside looking in. Only things I've heard from this team is how things are changing. One, obviously, you hit the nail on the head, coaches, right? Coaches bring in actual coaches, not just guys that are.
I said the good coaching changes. Have you seen the strength coach that's been going viral over the last few days? And in her preseason motivational speech, it doesn't hit. There's no juice behind it.
I'm all for it. At least it's something different because they needed something different. I hope she can bring something else to the table.
I hope that she's better, more motivating in the weight room than she is in a public speaking.
You
setting.
just aren't at Jackson State anymore. Like Jacksonville State, it's not like you're not there anymore. Like it's not like you can just bring in all these big names and have these high level talent and beat anybody because you're playing nobodies. And what I've noticed is obviously coaching changes, right? The team is learning the fight song for the first time in 4 years. So that's a huge thing.
Something that we both know by heart, and neither of us went there.
Exactly. So they're learning the fight song. And the most telling thing was, I think it was the quarterback, maybe it was a receiver, or maybe it was a corner. I can't remember.
It was the quarterback. It was Juju. It was Julian Lewis.
Yeah, it was like, for the first time we're reading defenses and looking at scouting reports. I'm like, what? What do you mean this is the first time you're doing that?
Pat Shermer is an former NFL offensive coordinator / head coach, and he didn't have you in the film room.
What do you mean you didn't have a scouting report on players? We had a scouting report with the fucking 6th grade team. Like, Are you shitting me?
I can show you some of my D2 scouting reports, and I knew some of these guys' blood types and whether they were allergic to peanuts. That's how sick these graduate assistants can be. And CU has all of this staff and all of this money, and you don't have somebody just putting together a little report. Like, you have to go. I don't even know. It's been really rough. Yeah, really rough.
It's good to know that those changes are happening, but it's kind of like slap in the face that you're like, wow, this didn't happen in the last 3 years. So you and look, Dion is an all-time player. I'll never say anything bad about him, the player and the person he is, because he's done some amazing, incredible things with his life and being an inspirational person and inspirational athlete. Never say anything about that. But him as a college football coach, he is not built for this. He's not. He's built to recruit.
We're about to figure that out because he's at least not dealing with as much adversity in his personal life.
I know with the personal life, unfortunately, his health problems have been such a struggle, and I
think he's allergic to Colorado. I think he's allergic to the altitude.
But ever since he stepped foot in here, unless he had Travis Hunter or Shedeur Sanders leading the helm, this team has done nothing, and they've been seen as a pushover team like they were before he walked in the building. And I hope that he can turn around and be that guy, but I don't think he can be the voice of reason as the head coach. He can be the recruiter. You can be all that, but there's roles for that. In today's age.
I think he'd be a hell of a DB's coach. He could be a hell of a DB's coach. I might even see him be
GM or GM. Like GM are a thing in college
GM too. Now. I was also saying he could be a defensive coordinator because if you know how to read coverages and can coach those guys also, it is one of the harder transitions that nobody ever thinks about. The great players that you see normally don't turn into great coaches because they themselves have very rarely had the chance to just stop. Like I was telling the freshmen, and I know I'm coaching high school freshmen, and I'm not trying to equate it level wise, but I'm coaching them, and they're all like looking around, seeing who's going to make the play to swing the momentum. It's like I think Dion was the guy that swung the momentum, but as a coach, he doesn't know how to show guys, hey, somebody just has to make one little play. Somebody has to be a spark. When you go into the locker room down by 17 points, I think back to that first season. You remember the TCU opener? They were down by 2 touchdowns. And somehow, some way, the halftime speech did what it needed to do, and they were able to turn themselves around. But there's something about the way that he goes about his style, and maybe that's what he's going to – maybe he's finally checked his ego at the door. And he's saying, I'm letting my offensive coordinator dictate the offense. I'm letting my defensive coordinator dictate the defense. I don't have a kid left on the team to favor and play more than somebody else that might deserve to be in that spot. And we're going to roll from here. And if that's the case, I think that CU will be more successful than they have been over the last few seasons, but it could still take some time. Julian Lewis played in 4 games last year as a true freshman. He started in 2. In that time, he was 52 of 94 for 55% completion, threw for 589 yards, which in the 4 games that he played was about 150 a game. And he has 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. The interceptions, I think, is a little bit tilted because he just really wasn't. I think that when they were putting him in the game, they're like, as long as you don't turn the ball over, you'll continue to play. So he was throwing the ball out of bounds or just getting sacked rather than trying to force something and make a play and put it in the right spot. They also, in the quarterback room, have transfer. You'll love this. They have a transfer from Utah, Isaac Wilson. You know who his big brother is?
No idea.
The MILF hunter, Zach Wilson.
Oh, good. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's the backup quarterback. At least he has Power 4 experience. I watched him play in a few games for Utah last year. and it wasn't as good as the other quarterbacks that Utah normally has. But you have those two options. You get 3 transfer receivers. Danny Scuderio from San Jose State. He's a former All-American, had 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns last season. They also picked up a receiver from Texas, DeAndre Moore Jr., and a third, Cameron Perry, who is one of the better receivers in the MAC. Like the talent level and what we're seeing, how they build this team is a little bit different too. They're now going to the lower teams like the Mountain West and into the MAC. Hey, you get to play Big 12 football and you can prove yourself at Colorado instead of trying to pay the highest check for the biggest, flashiest name and putting everybody's social media handles on their jersey. Now they're actually finding merit. Like Danny Scuderio deserves this chance to play in the Big 12 and prove himself against some of these cornerbacks if he can do it.
I'm gonna have to see it to believe it at this point because I don't know. I think there's give and take with that because like if you have a bunch of guys that are under the radar, come from these smaller schools, there's one reason why they started at those small schools. So if this coaching staff is good enough to get the most out of them and be able to have them succeed and be able to play up to the level, that's a different story. But I haven't seen it from this coaching staff. And they could be great players, but my biggest worry is that they come here and they're learning how to fucking read a defense for the first time ever, right? And they're like, wait.
And safety rolls, it's cover 3.
They're teaching the coaches how to fucking read coverage. Then I'm starting to worry a little bit. Is all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, no, and what people will say is this has worked now at a couple different places. This worked at Indiana. Kurt Cignetti brought all of those guys from the lower levels into his program. The difference is he's been with his coordinators for the last 25 years, and they're still there. They didn't lose any of their coaches from their national championship season. This is now, I think, the 4th offensive and defensive coordinator that Prime has had in 4 years. Maybe it's the 3rd because he kept Shermer way longer than anybody wanted to, and they had the other defensive coordinator for a couple years. The pivotal games I picked out, their opener, that was what I was going to say too. People forget they were close for the first half. Like they had every chance of being in that game with Georgia Tech, and say what you want. Like I get it. It could have not meant anything, but maybe it could have led them to at least being bowl eligible. Caden Salter was not used well in that game. They should have ran him way more than they did. They tried to throw it, and he threw way more interceptions than they could tolerate, but they get the rematch. It's going to be in Atlanta against Georgia Tech. They're home against Texas Tech, so at least you get the biggest, baddest team in your conference at home in Folsom Field. That's going to be October 3rd.
I think that's like just a recipe for disaster, but
it could be. It could be, but it also could be like the ignition that you need. You know, sometimes you schedule big games for homecoming and see if you can use the homecoming magic and will yourself to that next level. We get the Rumble in the Rockies, Colorado versus Utah in Folsom, October 17th. These games, that I'll say the Utah game and the next game that I talk about, Houston's going to be damn good. Houston is going to be much better than people are giving them credit for. Willie Fritz has always put together really good programs. Houston comes into Folsom. I believe that would be the last week of the season in November, last week of the regular season. Those 2 games, because they're at home, you have a shot. I agree with you. I think Texas Tech is going to come in here and smack us around a little bit and then, send Ralphie off back into the trailer with having scored 0 touchdowns and thrown 18 different interceptions. Like, I don't even know how you continue to throw. If I throw 18 interceptions, I'm just kneeling the ball out for the rest of the game. I don't know what else I'm going to do.
Just run the ball. Like, just like literally just keep hand your ball to the running back and let it be. Yeah, I mean, like I have 0 expectations. I think if this team gets to a bowl game, it'd be a win. Is all I'm gonna say. I think if they can get to a bowl game and fight through the Big 12, which like we've said is a conference that is slept on a little bit and a very good conference when it can be. Like if they can get to a bowl game, I think that's a big time win for this program because I saw what Julian Lewis did last year, and I think that kid is literally just trying to play to get a bigger scholarship somewhere else. Like I think that's his whole goal, and if you have a quarterback that's scared to do anything and scared to make big plays and try to go out and win games because he's just trying to get his next big contract or big paycheck, whatever it be, from a Big 10 school or an SEC school, then your program's not going to go anywhere. So
it won't be good for the program in the long run, but if he's trying to do that and he balls out and earns himself a bigger contract, at some bigger school next year, you can work with that because then
exactly, yeah.
Leon can then sell, hey, I flipped him from this other big program. He came here and then he went back to that big program with X amount of dollars more. Like it's ugly. I feel absolutely sick, disgusted talking about this.
Yeah, that's like a fucking take. That's the minor league system of fucking college football. That's the horrible. Like hearing you say that, I was like, is CU really to that point? Like it's like and yeah, they are. The fact that they are.
The way that this is working, that's not out of the realm of possibility. That could be what a lot of these programs start doing. Like I can see Tulane because they just lost their coach. And like, okay, we turned a coach into the next big thing. We can do that to our players. We can do that to our other coaches. We can do that to our coordinators. It is very odd.
Win a conference 1 year, right, and then have all those guys move on and try to redo it the next year and give opportunities to more and more kids. It's a weird revolving door of just college football that we've come to because of who the top dogs are.
That situation that we were just talking about started to push me a little bit more towards my dad's opinion about this whole situation. I'm not the same opinion as my dad. He still thinks it's bullshit that they get paid at all. Like I think that they should, but they shouldn't be able to leverage it. Like you at least have to sign contracts for set number of years.
I think the whole contracts thing is fucking horrid. That's why I've said it all along. It's like we're nearing a situation where college football is separate entirely from the NCAA. Like we're nearing that because of how much it's controlled it, and basketball doing the exact same thing. We are nearing that closer and closer every year, and it's horrible.
I mean, the fact that they don't put NCAA on the video games anymore, it's just college football. That is kind of that was honestly the first step that none of us really paid attention to. Going north from Boulder and a little bit to the east, CSU, they fired their coach, Jay Norvell, last season after a 2-10 campaign. Jim Mora Jr. leaves UConn, who he had just turned into the American Conference, not champion, but they were competing for the American Conference, playing well in that same level of football. I believe that he's making this move because it'll be the first season that they're in this newfangled Pac-12, which we'll talk about. They're playing all of the state schools. It's kind of hilarious. But now CSU gets a little bit of a chance for redemption, and they start things off at home in the border war against Wyoming. Like, tell me a more high-pressure situation, a high-pressure welcome than, it's the biggest rivalry in the entire program, and if we don't win, they hate Wyoming more than they hate Boulder. Like that is, it's more because it's on an even playing field. Like they always see CU as their big brother, so they definitely hate CU and they want.
Yeah, if you tell a CSU fan that what you just said, they would not be very happy with that saying.
I honestly would love to hear it. Like this is when you're watching. If you're a CSU supporter, would you rather? Here's how I'll put it. Would you rather lose to CU or would you rather lose to Wyoming?
See, I think
because Wyoming's on the same ground as you. If you lose to Wyoming, that means you're not only like you can justify losing to a team that's playing in Power 4 conference.
I may say CU just because of how obnoxious CU fans are. I maybe, and that's the reason why they probably would care more about that. I think that's why, and like I know Wyoming's a worse program than CU, so like I think that's why they would say CU they'd rather win that game than beat Wyoming. But you're not wrong. It's like 1A 1B. Like it's still a rivalry that's like they hate each. No one likes either side.
They also have Air Force, which they're not going to get to play them at all this season. That's their other rivalry in the program. No longer Braden Fowler Nicolosi as quarterback. He wasn't there. I believe by the middle of last season. They have two guys that they can possibly go with. I have never watched either of them play. One of the guys has a great name, so we'll go with the great name first. Haas Hengy played quarterback at Oklahoma State, started the season for the Cowboys last year, but ended up getting a season-ending injury, so he's looking for a fresh start in Fort Collins. Mora also brought his quarterback from UConn with him in the transfer portal, Kassan Farrar. He seems like a true dual threat kind of quarterback, which I think if CSU is going to start implementing more of a high tempo spread, like I think that's what they should have done. They don't get the biggest guys, and they're getting Fox from Creek just decommitted from UCLA, and he's coming in. If they spread things out, start running a little bit more of that read option, like I'll say 2012 Chip Kelly style offense, Farrar is going to be the option. And especially with Fox, I've seen Fox in person. That guy is fast.
The kid tried out for the Cross in the spring. Like he was at tryouts.
I'm bored. I want to play this new sport.
I saw him at lacrosse tryouts and I was like, "Who the heck is this guy?" He was like, "Oh, that's the running back that's going to UCLA." I was like, "Why the hell is he here? What the fuck are you doing?" He ended up not playing for obvious reasons because the man's getting a bag to go play football. But it was very funny because he like played lacrosse in middle school or something. He was like, "Oh, I'll come try," and he was like, "No, I'm okay." And I was like, "Holy fuck, that's crazy." But yeah, I mean, look, Jayden Fox is going to be a huge thing. My big thing with CSU is like this: is like, I don't know how you got Jim Mora. I don't know who knows who. I don't know how that worked out.
He has no tie to Colorado. I've searched and searched, and there was his dad never coached anywhere here.
When you have Nick Saban being like, why is he leaving Connecticut to go to CSU? Then you're like, wow, that's actually crazy to think about. Because like, there's a lot, because he's been on some great programs and I think he was an NFL head coach, wasn't he?
He was in the NFL. He was also at UCLA and had a decent season with UCLA when they were back in the Pac-12. He's been around. He wasn't at UConn because he wasn't a good head coach. There's just so many new young head coaches. Like Lanning got the job in Oregon. And then you had Kirby Smart get the job in Georgia, and then you had Kalen DeBoer get the job in Alabama. And so he's a little bit older than that generation of coaches, but he's still very much in this, and he clearly loves coaching college football because he's still here. He could be in the pros somewhere.
Yeah, I feel like it was a lateral move at most if going from Connecticut.
It's hard for me to say that it's I guess, are they going to consider the Pac-12 a power conference again? That's my question. Are they going to try?
Is it better than the Conference USA? Would you say?
It depends. There's seasons in the American Conference where UConn plays that teams would dominate everybody in the Mountain West. But there's been seasons where Boise would be like, if we had a Group of 5 national championship, Boise would be the odds-on favorite almost every year. Yeah. And that's the conference that CSU plays in. CSU has never reached that level. They've never even been close. No conference championships, no national championships. Your trophy. It's like it's honestly the college football equivalent of, and Jim Mora has more experience than Ted Lasso, but you're going to a team that's got a trophy case, just waiting to put some stuff in it. Just need to fill that out a little bit. There's all this space.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fun project. I think he's going to do great. I think he's going to have more success.
Is he playing college football in real life? That's what he's doing. College football 27.
I would put money on CSU having more success than CU this year. Like even moving to the Pac-12, I think there'll be a top.
How many games do you think they improve? Because they won 2 last season. How many games do you think they get?
I'll say they're a bowl team, so at least 4, right? Because they play 12 games,
and that's a huge in college football terms. That's a huge turnaround. You hope to get 1 back from what you were the season before, which I don't think that they would.
I don't think people realize how much Jay Norvell was not doing very well over there. Like he was. Like
he was hired in a situation too. Like he wasn't a guru coach at Nevada before he came over here.
No, he was a hoorah coach. Like he was a hoorah guy.
Some sick sweatshirts.
That's what I'm saying. The dude was a hoorah guy, and Jim Mora now is a X's and O's guy, and I think that benefits a smaller program more in CSU standards, really. So I think, I would say CSU would get to a bowl game at least.
They have the big games that I circled for them. Obviously, the opener with Wyoming, the border war. They play BYU at Canvas Stadium in Fort Collins. That BYU is, if they can keep that one respectable, that is where you start to see, and your claim that you just made, that's where you start to see them having a little bit more success than CU. They will be in October playing Oregon State, and then that's the start of their Pac-12 schedule. So then they go.
Who are the Pac-12 teams? Remind me.
It's Oregon State, Boise State. I'll pull it up here.
So I'll tell you the teams that I think they could be better than. If we're going off of that, because I think that's a fairer game than
Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, San Diego State, Texas State, and Houston State.
Texas State, yeah, and Houston State was the other one.
Utah State.
Oh yeah,
Utah State's been pretty good in the Mountain West.
I think they could be playing for a bid in the Pac-12 championship at the end of the year with that group. Like outside of Boise State, there's not a team that I'm like, yeah, that team is going to be the outlier like in this Pac-12 division or in the whole conference. So so I mean I would be shocked.
let's see. So they go Wyoming, then they play Southern Utah, which is an FCS school. They used to be Dixie State, and they were in the RMAC when I was playing. After that, they play BYU in October or in mid-September. They go to the Alamo Dome and play UT San Antonio, Oregon State, Texas State, San Diego State, Utah State, Boise State, Washington State, Fresno State, and then it would be the Pac-12 championship at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're competing. Like, I don't know. I think that they can. I think they'll struggle through the first half of the season. And I think when they get to conference play, they'll be doing a lot better. And I think that's where, like I said, I'm not saying they're going to win it by any means, but I think they'll be.
I think that their improvements are going to be more concrete. Like this is going to be the foundation year, and then the season after, that's where we might see them take over and be one of the more bigger programs in Colorado. Because even with the two that we've talked about, you know, who won the most games out of the 3 Division I programs in Colorado?
It was Air Force.
It was still Air Force. Air Force had a terrible season. They were 4-8. So they won 1 more game than CU. They won 2 more than CSU. And they finished, by the way, they were 0-4 at the beginning of the season and finished on a 6-game, or not a 6-game. They finished winning their games in the back half of the season. So they had figured something out. There was something that they couldn't quite get going. But they had got themselves right. Like I said, Troy Calhoun is coming back for his 20th season. He's the second head coach that's ever been in the program. They have a quarterback, Liam Sarka. He has 922 rushing yards and 13 touchdowns to go along with 1,294 passing yards and 9 touchdowns. So he's an offensive machine. And when you play Air Force, like when you see the Navy and Army game, you are seeing triple option. You are seeing discipline. You are seeing a team that is going to be more physical than you. And I have to think that they probably just had a down cycle. They didn't lose anybody to the transfer portal. Anybody that played for them last season in any capacity didn't transfer out. That's not normally the case. These academies lose kids left and right.
I was gonna say I don't have very much familiarity with everything that the academies do, but I would assume they can't, or like they don't do it very often. Like I don't know.
It wouldn't. I mean, it
doesn't. Like I would be shocked if
they would probably just stop playing football and then finish out their civilian like schooling if they can afford it. And then they would transfer for a graduate, but they haven't lost anybody, and the program is still here.
It's usually grad transfers, if anything. It's hard to transfer in and out.
They have 68 returning lettermen. 68, which is huge for them. And I think last year they were just trying to get their experience. They will host North Dakota State in one of NDSU's first Division I games. So the Bison that used to dominate FCS, they're moving up. They play them on September 12th. They host Navy, and they go to Army in November. For me, I think that Air Force is kind of judged on a curve, graded on a curve. If they are winning the Commander-in-Chief's trophy and in the top 3 of the conference, that's a successful season. And because that means you're in the bowl, you're going bowling, possibly going bowling in a bigger bowl game, but it's the Commander-in-Chief trophy that you really want to get back. They haven't won that in a long time. It's just been passed back and forth between Navy and Army, and Air Force has just been kind of left out on the side. They were, for a handful of years there, really competitive in that trophy race, but they haven't even sniffed it. It doesn't even come to Colorado Springs anymore. So they have a lot of work to do and a lot to prove to see if they can turn that around.
Yeah, for sure.
Which team are you buying stock in? Not for this upcoming season, but over the next 3 seasons. Which team do you have the most? Rank them in order of faith over the next 3 years.
I would say CSU, CU, Air Force. If I were going down the list, I think I've already said my piece on CSU and what Jim Mora could do to that program if he sticks around is the key question. I still think CU I still think CU could figure it out one of these years. Like it's weird to say that, but I still think that the talent they bring in, I'm sitting there being like, yeah, well, maybe they could compete for a Big 12 championship one year. Maybe they could like shock the world and be like Kansas one year or be a Texas Tech one year where they may sneak themselves into a playoff. Like I still think that's a very big possibility because of the conference they play in. And Air Force, like I said, no offense to Air Force, it's just they're like I said, they're still trying to win a 3-team race for one trophy, let alone a Big 12 championship. And those 3 teams, yes, we usually get one of Army and Navy that has a chance of making the playoff, but still it's a team that gets run on the ground when it comes to the postseason, especially in the top 16. So it's that's how I would do it. CSU, CU, and Air Force.
I trust in the coaching staff that CSU has been building, and I guess I'll say cautiously optimistic about what CU can be. The videos that come out on social media, and I take those with a grain of salt, they look small. Like, they don't look like they have the size that a lot of the other schools that they're going to be playing do. And if that's the case, I really hope that this scheme that Marion is bringing is as innovative as they say it is, because they're going to need something to overcome the rest of this conference. Because the Big 12, where the Big 10 and SEC like to say that it's really the power two, the Big 12 with Texas Tech and BYU, especially if they can get over that mental hurdle, those are some pretty good teams that can give anybody a real good shot.
A Big 12 team was in the national championship game less than 3 years ago with TCU. So, like, it's not that we're not that far removed from the Big 12 being, like, obviously a huge conference. So
that would be awesome if the Big 12 and Big 10 had all the championships in the last 4 years, and the SEC just had to sit over there on the sideline like, we were good once. We had Nick. If you remember Nick Saban. All right, let's move out of college football and talk about some NFL. We are ranking or talking about the AFC North, the way that this division finished last season. The Steelers won the division at 10-7. They fired Mike Tomlin. The Ravens also made the playoffs.
Fired. I think fired is
mutually agreed
parted ways. Yes. Mutually agreed part ways.
The Ravens finished second in the division, 8-9. They still made the playoffs, I believe, right? No, they didn't. No, they didn't make the playoffs. They were playing the Steelers for the right to go to the playoffs in the last week, and then that's when Harbaugh got fired. So the top two teams in the division fired their coach. The Browns finished fourth in the division at 5-12. They fired their coach. The Bengals at number 3 finished 6-11, and they brought everybody back. And when not
everybody. One guy left, and they brought someone in new. One change, but
what doesn't really count if he didn't even play last season because he was always quote hurt and
okay. Well, then you added because Sexy Ducks is good.
Yeah, and he's beating the shit out of our terrible offense. That's all I'm seeing out of camp. I was like, the defense is just winning every day.
It's addition by subtraction. I think it's the best, one of the better defenders.
Are we going to start? Are we going to start with that? I guess we could start with them. Like I said, 24% pressure rate in the first preseason game. You have your starters playing against, I'll take a major league quote here, guys that are going to be bagging groceries in a couple of weeks, and you still can't keep the top 3 quarterback in the league, top 4 according to ESPN quarterback in the league, comfortable for more than 2 seconds.
Wait, but Jamar Chase is open. And T. Higgins is open.
Here's the other thing that I'll because the kids brought this up in the freshman practice yesterday. It's like the Bengals, they scored. I was like, yeah, we scored. Or they were saying something about, you like the Bengals? I said, yeah, we scored 419 points last season. You know what an average NFL team scores? 364. They're like, nice. And then Dom is standing behind me, and of course, because he's the Mac guy, he goes, how many points did they give up? 492. They were still minus 78 in the scoring differential after scoring over 400 points in the season. And then I look at him because I know I play into it more than anybody. If you're going to find somebody that talks shit about the Bengals more than me, I would love to meet that guy. He's probably living in Pittsburgh and maybe not, because Pittsburgh probably doesn't even register Cincinnati on a map. But I was sitting there and I go, ask me how many games we won when we scored 35 points. 0. Actually 0. You know how hard that is?
That's like actually kind of impressive, which is hideous, because usually 28 is like sweet spot. I'm like, oh, you won handedly. You're a great spot, 28 points. 35 and winning 0 is not ideal.
I think it was 35. We won 2, but if we got to 37, it was an 0-8, because we were either scoring 37 after the other team had already been up by 21 points, and we cut it down to a 14-point deficit at the end of the game. Or we literally were just trading touchdowns back and forth, and our offense got so tired because we don't drive the ball down the field. We hit Jamar Chase on a 2-yard screen pass that goes 80 yards, and then we wonder why our defense sucks so bad. They're tired because the other offense just humped them up and down the field because they couldn't stop anything last season. And then we go out there and have a 3-play touchdown drive. Oh, great. We scored 7 points. That doesn't work. You have to play to the players that you have. You cannot play to what you think the team should be. This ain't Madden. You have real money, real consequences, real guys playing for you.
Real injuries,
you have to play complimentary football, Zach Taylor. For once in your life, can you please play complimentary football?
we've said it for I think it's 2 or 3 years now that Zach Taylor is on a hot seat, and the fact that everybody in the division said I'm going, and they did is very, very funny. Like, it is very, very funny.
Two of the teams were in playoff contention until the last game ended, and they still said, "Yeah, nope, sorry,
I'm good. Nah, we're good."
And the Browns picked a sexual predator over their head coach last season.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's, and Stefanski's a good coach too. Funny enough, like,
I'm surprised you say that after what your team just did to his in the preseason.
Yeah,
I kind of forgot that he was coaching in Atlanta, by the way.
Preseason, I don't really know what to think. I look, I can't believe I'm saying this again because I feel like I'm just like repeating shit that I'm saying every year. It's like the Bengals have pieces. Like, Dexter Lawrence is a top D tackle in the league. True.
Yeah,
right?
We might not get ran on anymore.
That's what I'm saying. Joe Burrow is a top 5 quarterback in the league. True. Jamar Chase is a top 5 receiver in the league. True. What else you got for me? You know what I mean? Like, what else?
T. Higgins, when he's healthy.
That's what I'm saying. It's like the what if guys.
Mike Gesicki.
And the problem, I've said this consistently, is the problem when you have really good weapons, right? Really good weapons in that poor offensive line. When Jamar Chase is getting the ball, you know who's not getting the ball? T. Higgins. You know what I mean? Like, that's the biggest problem when you have 2 alphas at the receiver position. You have Chase Brown as your lead fucking running back coming into the season. Like that's the biggest problem, is like you have to have complementary pieces. Complementary pieces are so much like it's not even.
Chase Brown is held back by this offensive line too. He dodges 4 guys in the backfield and still will break a couple for 15. Like, I have nothing bad to say about his performance. I just wish that we could use him a little bit more consistently, and we could actually call an offense that will go down the field. Like, I'm ready to bring Callahan back as the offensive coordinator, because you clearly can't be a head coach on your own. And Dan Pitcher, who replaced you as offensive coordinator, I'm not going to say what I want to say because I think some of my new students might be watching this show, but man, I think I have like some of my 7th graders that can call better offense than Dan Pitcher, especially with the talent that he has on that offensive side of the football. I'm just saying. Moving from the Bengals, let's go to the division champion from last season. Aaron Rodgers is coming back. He has said that this is his last season of his career, so we're going to get the Last Dance Pittsburgh edition. He is now with Mike McCarthy, who took over for Mike Tomlin. You have DK Metcalf. You have Michael Pittman Jr., you have Jalen Warren, you have Rico Dowdle. On the defensive side, you still have Cam Hayward and TJ Watt. Now that it's not Mike Tomlin, what are we expecting from the Steelers? Because we're not going to get over 500 all the time anymore. But,
I know, but
Mike McCarthy is a former Super Bowl winning head coach.
Yeah, so is Sean Payton. Like, I mean, like there's a lot of – what you did with signing with bringing in Mike McCarthy just tells me, like, yep, let's find the biggest yinzer we could find. You know what, Mike McCarthy, I got a lot of faith like in Will Howard. Steeler. It's like you look like a Pittsburgh Steeler.
We're gonna go down to the field. We're gonna play Will Howard in the preseason.
Is it the
down
Roonies?
on the field?
It's the Roonies that own.
Yeah, no,
right. The Roonies went in with their GM and they said, all right, who can say the weirdest sentences possible and not make a single sense? But you know what? It sounds like he knows football, and that's who we're going to hire for the coaching position. They went down line. They said, no. Mike McCarthy, yes, you're coming to your hometown, and you're going to be the coach. That's exactly. It does nothing. It does nothing.
Get to coach my hometown team.
It does nothing. I don't. I think the Steelers.
Should they have moved on from Tomlin? Because it truly was getting ridiculous. 10-7, guaranteed every single year. Sometimes you'll get in the playoffs. Sometimes you'll win the division. Sometimes you won't. But are you willing to trade that consistency for the volatility that McCarthy's about to bring?
And Aaron Rodgers, like Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy are about to bring you. Like, I think this is a one and done season for McCarthy. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't think the Steelers are like. Like, look at this roster. Their defense is the best part of their team. We've said it for year in, year out, and they're getting old. They're getting old. That defense is not getting younger by the day.
Dare I say, I don't fear Cameron Hayward anymore.
No one does. No one does in the year 2026 going into 2027. Like
I still have flashbacks to a couple of Monday Night Football games where I'm seeing Cameron Hayward sack Joe Burrow into TJ Watt. So
the only person on this defense that really scares anybody still is TJ Watt. He's 31 fucking years old. Like I'm sorry.
And he did hurt himself for a majority of last season. He came back and played.
The field either. Yeah, the dude cannot stay on the field either. Like Pittsburgh, the running back position is as horrid as it comes. Also, I was Caleb Johnson's stock last year coming out of Iowa. I was like, oh, this guy's going to be good. Could be a Bronco, everything. He did nothing for Pittsburgh last year, was injured, right? Jalen Warren is the lead back still. Again, don't know how, but he still is the lead back.
I thought it was going to be Rico Dowdle and Warren was going to be
maybe it is. You're right. You're right. It might be Dowdle.
Dowdle is a back-to-back 1,000-yard rusher who they picked up. And especially because they got a Yinzer to coach, they're going to run the shit out of football. That's all Cowher used to do is turn around and hand the ball off.
You got to also remember, like in that system he was playing in Carolina and Dallas, like Carolina sucked ass, and they said just do something with it. Like for most of the season, and in Dallas, like he was the backup to Zeke for all those years, and he was like, you know what, like when Zeke's not getting his, I'll get mine because they don't know, they're so focused on what he's gonna do that I'll be able to do my own thing. I'm just not impressed. Like. You added Pittman, right? Pittman's a good receiver. I thought he's going to be. I think he's going to be a good receiver for them. But at the same time,
he's their number 2 now with DK Metcalf. So you do kind of have a 1 and a 2.
I'm sitting,
depending on how you see DK Metcalf.
That's what I'm saying. It's like I'm sitting here, like same way I'm sitting here with the Nuggets. I'm sitting here at this team. It's like, why would this team scare me? You know what I mean? Like, give me a reason why this team would scare me to win a division, to win a Super Bowl trophy. Because there's not one reason. I hate to say it. The Bengals give me reasons. I'm sorry. Like that's the difference between these teams, and obviously the Bengals don't have the structure that Pittsburgh has and the continuity they have. But there's nothing in this roster that's screaming, yeah, this team's going to an AFC Championship. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a team that will compete for the division because of who they are, and everyone else in the division being scared to shit of them. Right, for no reason.
That black and gold has such a hold psychologically on so many.
The fucking terrible towel has a hold on the whole fucking division. There's a choke.
Yeah. And I know that they have.
Ravens fans have with that terrible towel around their neck.
I know that they have a hold because when I post pictures, I post that one picture that I took like 4 years ago with my "Just Say No" shirt, and the "No" is the Steelers logo crossed out. That's the most liked picture I've ever posted on our account. And it's everybody from Cleveland, Baltimore, and Cincinnati. Like, yep, I just can't stand it. And Dallas, too, because Dallas had a rivalry with them. Like, outside of Pittsburgh, you probably hate the Steelers. And the weird thing is, most of the people that moved from Pittsburgh somehow finagled their way into my life. Because I have so many Steelers fans that I'm either family with because they married my cousins, or I'm friends with because Rev has come on this show, and I love Rev, but I can't talk to him because he's a Steelers fan, and it's just it's too much.
So in seriousness, like who's going to start the second most amount of games of this team? Because you and I both know Aaron Rodgers isn't going to start every game, like unless he gets the ayahuasca trip. Is it Drew
I think
Allen
it'll be Will Howard because he's been in the system. I think that what we saw was an outlier because I've watched too much of Drew Aller at Penn State when he was playing with guys that were much better than everybody else that he was playing against, and he wasn't good.
Yeah.
Will Howard at least looked good when he played at Ohio State and had all of that talent, and now you can trust a guy that's been in the system and a second-year guy a little bit more than the brand-new rookie who all we know Drew Aller for is being 6'4", 245. That's literally the only reason why anybody knows who Drew Aller is because we've memorized his height and weight.
Yeah. Yeah, what makes me laugh even more, it's like looking at this quarterback room. Mason Rudolph's still in this fucking team. Like,
oh my goodness!
Like
assault!
Like that happened 5 years ago, and this guy's still on the backup quarterback of the team.
Damn near. No, that was more than 5 years ago because we were in college.
Was that before COVID? Yeah, before COVID.
We were in college, and Myles Garrett smacked him over the head with his own helmet.
How long ago that was? Like, are we being serious right now? Like. Mike McCarthy is going to be coaching for his job, right?
Next thing you're going to tell me is that Duck Hodges is still. Remember Devlin Hodges?
No, I do. Trust me, because I have a girlfriend who is in love with Lainey Wilson. Okay, and that is Lainey Wilson's husband. That is not.
It is.
That is. Yeah.
Good for him.
I know he's married to Lainey.
Holy
Wilson.
crap!
Exactly. I watched the whole Netflix documentary with her. Don't worry, I heard all about it. So yes, he's still very relevant as the side piece in that whole world. But I sit here and I'm like, if you're Mike McCarthy, do you really not think that, like, it's going to be wild to say this, but week 1 comes, I don't see a situation where Mason Rudolph's not the backup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that means one of Drew Howard or Will Howard
is such a blue collar. Yeah, I think that Will Howard. I don't think Will Howard's going to get cut. I think it would be what round did Aller get drafted?
I thought it was like I don't know the exact.
I think it was round, it was probably a 6th, or it could be an undrafted guy.
That's what I'm saying. Is like they're paying Mason $3 million a year.
You can put Aller on your practice squad for this season. Will Howard can be your third quarterback, and Mason Rudolph be your second quarterback.
I think they'd be stupid. They'd be stupid to keep Mason Rudolph around and not let the other two mold. But I'm sitting here being like, yeah, Pittsburgh will probably just let him be a career backup.
Where's Mason Rudolph going to go?
Nowhere. He's not going to go anywhere. But like they like him, they trust him.
If he's making $3 million, if they cut him, they're going to be on the all out. The only difference between the ownership group of the Steelers and the ownership group of the Bengals is the ownership group of the Steelers picked a head coach that won 4 Super Bowls, and then picked the next head coach that won a Super Bowl, and then their next head coach also ended up winning a Super Bowl, and we're just consistently doing the right things. They're just as cheap as the Bengals.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm sitting here being like, I mean, I think it'd be smart to have Drew Aller or Will Howard be the backup quarterback and just like be in the room and be on the headset with Aaron Rodgers at least, right? And like listening to the headset instead of not even traveling every week. I think that'd be
Ayahuasca
smart.
40. Ayahuasca 40.
I mean, like
Shaman say hut.
Even after saying all this is still, in my opinion, the second best team in the division. I even like that's what I'm saying is like even with Tomlin gone and the jokes of well, at least they'll be 500 and they'll have a winning record. I think McCarthy could probably do the same exact thing because they'll still beat bad teams and probably struggle against good teams. And they'll sit it right around 500, be the second team in the division.
The good thing is that they get 6 games against their division opponents. And I think outside of the Ravens, who we'll talk about next, those 6 games will probably be – they already get –
They have a chance to win every single one. Doesn't matter.
They get at least 14 points, whether they play the Bengals or the Browns at home or on the road. Yeah. They will automatically have 14 points that they can just put up whenever they feel like it. The Ravens replaced John Harbaugh with Jesse Minter, who is now back in Baltimore. He was the defensive coordinator there. He went to Los Angeles to be the defensive coordinator with Jim Harbaugh for the Chargers, and now he's back. Zay Flowers is a guy that I think kind of flew under the radar, especially for me. I watch the Ravens, or at least pay attention to the Ravens the entire season. He's a back-to-back Pro Bowler. Obviously now Lamar Jackson's true number 1 receiver, and this is a franchise move that I didn't expect. I did not think that the Ravens were going to go with the quarterback over the coach because that's just not what they've ever shown. Maybe that's kudos to what Lamar Jackson has proven to them, and they feel like they need to back him like this. I'm interested to see how this is going to go because you had so much consistency for so long, and is Minter just going to come in and be Harbaugh 2.0, or is he going to be what Mike McDonald was? Because remember, everybody kind of had that same question about McDonald before he was the head coach the first season in Seattle. Is he going to be able to take what he was really good at being a defensive coordinator? Can he actually run a full franchise, run a full program? That's yet to be seen. I think they look decent in their preseason opener. They kind of smacked the Eagles around, but the Eagles didn't play any of their starters. Getting Trey Hendrickson is big for them too. What are you seeing with the Baltimore team?
Yeah, I mean, if you can stay on the field, that's the real question.
I have a sneaky suspicion now that he has a long-term contract, he's going to make his way on the field and he will be just fine.
Yeah, I mean, I find it interesting because I look at their rosters. Like, there's a roster that lost their backup tight end. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. number 8. Likely went to New York, followed Harbaugh, right? So they lost their probably their number 1 tight end going into the season. You still have Mark Andrews on the team, who's getting older and still lugging around at 30 years old as a tight end. But this is a receiver room that I still like. I say here, yeah, Zay Flowers can show you something. Bateman, I think that experiment has come and gone. You draft Jacoby Lane in the 3rd round this past year, the guy out of USC that a lot of people thought had some raw talent and could be decent. This team still is relying on Derek fucking Henry and Lamar Jackson and the option. Like that's still what's going to lead this team. I think their defense could be still very, very good. And I think that Minter coming in, you said from Seattle, right? Like coming in from Seattle.
Minter's coming back from Los Angeles.
Los Angeles, I think he could bring a good
defensive coordinator with Harbaugh in one of his last seasons. So
I'm saying like he could be a very good defensive coach helping this defense, because when he was around, that defense for the Ravens, it wasn't the Ray Lewis Ed Reed days, but it was still very, very good. And I think that could help them heavily. And obviously bringing in Hendrickson and having Roquan Smith still there, like that team could still be very good. Kyle Hamilton and company. Yeah, I mean, I sit here and I look at this division. And I look at the 3 teams we just talked about, and we don't really need to spend.
Are we even going to talk about the massage parlor boys?
We probably can because of how funny it is, what's going on, and all the buffoonery that's going on. But like I sit here and I look at these other 3 teams that really have a chance of like winning the division and being competitive in the playoffs, and I sit here and being like, what scares me? Like what scares me out of these teams, right? Like maybe it's Baltimore's defense, maybe it's Baltimore ability to run the ball, but I still see all 3.
It really isn't even Lamar Jackson anymore, because Lamar Jackson is not going to have those runs. Everybody goes back to the run that he had against the Bengals, where he spun Nick Vigil out of his entire uniform. I think the entire pads is still sitting at the 35-yard line for Baltimore's field. He's not doing that anymore.
No, he's not. And but at the same time, I still think that's the best team in the division. And I still think this whole division, like as good and consistent as it is every single year, it's still below the level of championship level tiers of the Bills, the Patriots, the Chiefs, the Broncos, like of all these teams that really competed a lot. I mean, even go down list of like even Jacksonville maybe, or like even Indianapolis if they figure it out.
Yeah, the fact that they only had one team finish over 500 and only one team make the playoffs, we were all kind of thinking that they could be one of the top divisions in the league last year. That was proven very false because it was just they were all just really close to each other.
And
that was the only thing.
Exactly, and the main reason because of that is because it's just all these teams are getting older. That's literally it. It's like they're not the spring chickens.
Time does not stop for anybody. Father Time is such a bitch. I cannot believe that we're about getting ready for Joe Burrow's 6th season with the Cincinnati Bengals. 6th season. Damn. That is
his last.
I mean, it would follow the normal pattern of every other Cincinnati Bengals quarterback. So
6 years is the cap.
I'm not gonna rule it out. Yeah, I think Carson might have been even less than that before he actually started having.
I hope for your sake it's not, but I mean, it is tough.
I'll obviously watch the games, but I'm gonna try and detach myself as much as possible. I'm not gonna have many of them, if any, on my fantasy team.
And then the team will go 5-0, and you'll be like, "Holy shit, we're back! Like we got this. We're all the way back." Yes, since I've been teaching middle school and 7th graders specifically, you just have to take every day as it is. Some days are fucking awesome. Some days we're gonna score 60 points and dominate and win by 4 touchdowns. Some days it's going to be like we were just talking about. We scored 35 points and we're still trailing by 15. Really? Really? Are we really doing this? Oh, okay, I guess so. Let's get into our predictions. What do we think the division is going to finish in? I'll let you go first because I wrote mine out. Where do you see these 4 teams falling? I have Cleveland last. I think that's self-explanatory. I think that the team is – it's in shambles. I think they have to start Deshaun at this point. I don't even know if Deshaun's healthy to play at this point. Who knows what his injury is at this point?
Like crap when he is in the game.
All of the videos that I've seen of Shador, it's like you should play Shador, like because you've already
because he could figure something out.
He could because you've already kicked to the can, Dylan Gabriel. Like that fucking experiment. The dude's fucking done.
Why did you draft a 5'9" quarterback in the 3rd round?
That Dylan Gabriel experience is fucking cooked. So at this point, it's either Shador or Deshaun at this point. And if you want to give your franchise a little bit of hope and maybe see what you got out of him, it's going to be Shedeur. Let's at some point, Cleveland's going to have to do what we did with Russ. And they're still eating that contract. And you're gonna have to just eat it and say, yeah, that didn't work out. Yeah, that experiment backfired more harder than anything we've ever done.
When you give a sexual predator hundreds of millions of dollars, it doesn't always work out.
And trading multiple first-round picks for him. At least you can see what this team's doing. It's like at least they got out while they're ahead and got rid of Myles Garrett and said, you know what, you're not just gonna rot here. Like,
Jared Verse is fully embracing his new role. Like,
Right.
He's out there with the young guys trying to help everybody get up to his
Which
level.
is fucking crazy.
That's the thing that we never even think about. We
Yeah.
see these teams and we see the Browns and like, oh, they suck. There's no way that they're going to do anything. There are guys that are putting in some absolute extra hours to try and make them as good as possible.
I think
so when you get
really good, like
I just want to put that out there. When we get mad at our teams, we do have to remember that this is a full-time job for them and they know that they're getting paid millions of dollars. There's a rare exception every now and then. They don't want to fuck up just as badly as you don't want to see them fuck up.
Yeah, I mean,
but
it's the Browns. But it's the Browns. That's the
it
problem.
is the Browns.
It's the Browns.
It is always. It's always the Browns.
But it's Cleveland. That's the problem here.
You are a factory of sadness.
The fact that they got draft picks back and that they can finally move on from this whole situation, I think this season you start Shedeur from game one and you just let it ride. And then if Shedeur gets injured, Dylan Gabriel starts. Like I think that's how you have to go about it. You cut Deshaun Watson. I expect that notification to come in the next couple weeks before the season starts that Deshaun Watson has left the team or something along those lines, that he is not wanted back, and that the Browns just sit there being like, yep, fuck it, start from ground zero. If we suck this year, we suck, but at least we got draft picks and we got the ability of fluctuation with some young guys, like some young players that could be very good, right? We talk about the Harold Frannon Jr., very, very good tight end that could be very, very special in this league. Like they have some young
AC Concepcion.
Like they have some opportunities to have some good talent on their team. They just need to start from ground zero and say, yeah, we fucked up. And I don't think they've done that yet. And that's the problem. It's like when you do that, when you start over and you say, yeah, we're just going to play who we got, play the young guys and figure it out. Look what the Rockies are doing. Yeah, they suck right now, but at least they're playing young guys and they're seeing some guys out. They got some dudes on their team, right? Like you do that with your team, or you start a 30-something-year-old sexual predator. Like, what do you expect from Deshaun Watson to start at 30 years old? What does that bring you to your team to start him? It does nothing.
I don't think the guys like playing for him either. And you do have to have a little bit of that for your quarterback. You have to have guys that like playing for him. So the Browns are fourth. Who do you have? Where do you have everybody else falling?
I'm not going to put you one. I can't do that.
I didn't want you to put me one, and I did not expect you to put me one.
But you know what? I'll put you two.
I put myself two as well.
I'll say Pittsburgh 3, Bengals 2, and Ravens 1.
No way. Because we did not talk about this before the show.
No, we did not. No, we didn't.
Tried and true to what I have. I said the Browns are going to go 6-10. Pittsburgh's going to be 8-9 because they don't have Tomlin to keep them above 500. Cincinnati's going to be 9-8 and possibly sneaky into a wild card.
Yeah.
And then Baltimore is going to win the division at 11-6 because everybody else is at some point. Everybody else in this division is going to implode.
I seriously think the whole Joe Burrow defensive line or offensive line thing is a problem, but I think actually Dexy helps the team a lot. Okay, I think that the Bengals could be freaky and a little bit dangerous when it comes to playing playoff teams. That I think they're the second best team in this division. Pittsburgh, I look at, I'm like, there's nothing this team like Aaron Rodgers unless he is on all the peptides in the world and that are legal in the NFL, that man is not going to be able to do what he used to be able to do.
Do you remember that post-game presser he did after he had that Oxycontin at halftime? He's like, that was just a really flowy experience. You're high as – why did they put you on camera? You're so high right now, dude. Get off the camera.
Unless they do that again for him, like the Steelers, I think, will be a third team.
I don't think that they're allowed to give you Oxycontin on the plane anymore. They actually put some regulations to the trainers in the NFL. Let's move on to some of the more miscellaneous NFL topics. We'll go quickly through these. One of them is from last week. So Jayden Daniels is suing LSU. They gave him a cease and desist, the program. Technically, this is what everybody does. You have 18 months of a window after you're finished playing for the school to continue using your name, image, and likeness. and then you have to make a new agreement is what I've been now trying. That's what I was seeing in my research. This is much more of a, how could you put another guy in number 5 jersey for LSU? Niko, I said this last week. Did he win a national championship? No.
He didn't make the playoffs.
Did he even? No. Did he play in the conference championship? No. Did he win a conference championship? No. Did he win double-digit games? No. Why are we upset? Heisman Trophy winners are at every school. It's not guaranteed that you're going to get a retired number just because you're a Heisman Trophy winner.
I saw the list. There's like a list. I'll try to find it. Heisman Trophy winners and their numbers the next year. Like it's insane. Like I don't understand what. It's college football. There's fucking 100 guys on a roster.
That's what I was saying too. If you start retiring numbers, you're gonna have to. I'm recruiting 15 less people because I gave away too many jerseys last year.
Like they give jersey numbers out. Like Tennessee gives, or maybe it's LSU gives a number 11 or something out to like the hardest working guy because it was honoring one of the players, right? Like I'm pretty sure like there's only a certain amount of players that do that. And Joe Burrow, who fucking won a national championship and won a Heisman Trophy, got his jersey retired.
Undefeated season.
Hasn't been worn.
Well, yeah, it's like a theoretical retirement. Yeah.
I mean, it's
that was my thing. Like you have to be at least self-aware enough to realize you're not even the best quarterback to come out of the school in the last decade.
I know. So here's the list. Here's the list. I think it's very, very funny. So the last 10 Heisman Trophy winning jersey numbers after that, what happened? Fernando Mendoza, 2025. There is a guy wearing Mendoza's number this year in Indiana. 2024, Travis Hunter retired. We don't need to speak on that. I think that's a whole.
We already talked
anomaly.
About that length. It was not warranted.
Yeah,
but Travis is
more
warranted than Shador's.
It's an anomaly, exactly. Jayden Daniels, worn on defense, not even a quarterback, worn on defense. Caleb Williams, retired number. Again, that's probably another one that's like, I don't know about that. Bryce Young, worn 2 years after being a part of one of the best Alabama teams ever. Devontae Smith, one of the best receivers in college football history, jersey number was worn the next year.
Yep.
Joe Burrow, not worn since. I think that's the first one we get to. Like, that makes sense.
And that wasn't even an official thing. They just nobody's
given out.
Nobody's even asked for 9 at LSU.
Exactly. Kyler Murray, worn the next year at Oklahoma. Baker Mayfield at Oklahoma, worn 4 years after he left. Lamar Jackson at Louisville, who's the greatest quarterback in that school's history.
That's
worn the next year.
Player that's ever played at Louisville, by the way.
Exactly, worn the next year. I mean, like I don't know how far we go down.
What is Mama Daniels thinking? Because I'm not gonna keep attributing. Jayden deserves blame because his team is his team, but his mom is. I am going to try and be careful about this because my mom is invested in my life too. But the fact that she is his agent and his lawyer, if she didn't overstep in this situation, then I have a totally different opinion of Jayden Daniels. If she didn't go totally over his head and
all you have to do is have a conversation. Like, hey, we would just love the conversation. Not be like, send this and sue a guy. Like, are you that broke? Like I think about this. This whole situation is going down. A guy wearing his jersey number, everything, right? This is the same guy who left Arizona State and had his own teammates pissing on his locker with stuff in it still, basically. And you had no problem with that? You didn't want to send anything problem to there?
It is deep. Players that have played with Jayden Daniels, and I'm not saying this is my personal opinion, players that have played with Jayden Daniels can't stand his mom.
Except Brandon Ayuk.
Well, I think the only one. Now, knowing what I know about Mama Daniels now, I think Ayuk might be trolling. I think Ayuk is trolling everybody. He's just trying to piss her off as much as possible. It's like, oh, you ain't no way you playing with my baby again. It's like, I know. I actually don't want to play in the NFL again. I just like seeing you sweat. Like I just don't. I would hope
the whole Arizona State
that you would take care of yourself.
Like the Arizona State thing happened. It happened while we had this show. Like I remember that being holy shit, this is crazy. Like guys taking his stuff, like hundreds of dollars of worth of stuff, like peeing on shit, like burning things, like all this happens, and a guy says, you know what, this is a number that I wore growing up, and it means a lot to me. I'm gonna wear it, and you're all of a sudden you're like, nope, can't do that.
It's also not the same coach. It's not the same coaching staff. It's not the same athletic director, and LSU makes the rules up as they go. They literally were about to divert state funds to the football program if they hadn't have made the NCAA sanction or whatever just happened in court. The governor was legitimately like, should we put more housing up or should we invest in the NIL fund?
Or should we get Brian Kelly fired? That's what it was. Should we add more money?
How much is the buyout?
Should we buy out our football coach, or should we invest money into our highways and the school system? Nope, let's buy out the head coach. That's what
public schools. Who needs them? LSU, go to the state university.
Bring in Lane Kiffin.
And bring in the most toxic head coach of all time and see how it goes. Let's go to this one here. Von Miller signs as a Cowboy. He's going back to Texas. That's his home state. He's choosing Texas. I can tell by. He really took a run. Like I've never been hit on that hard in my life. He was hitting on the Broncos. Like, got Von. I'm really not interested. Like, it was fun while it lasted, and we had a great time. Oh, come on, baby. You know you want me back. Not really. Like, you're old. I'm good. I have Nick Benito and Zach Gallen. I'm fine.
Yeah. I mean, like, I would have loved Vaughn here. Like, he's an all-time favorite Bronco for me for a reason. And a guy that will, I think it's a guy that would be his jersey retired. Like, I don't think that's a number that has.
That is a good jersey retirement.
That is a good retirement. Okay, the guy won you a Super Bowl MVP, one of only a handful of defenders to win Super Bowl MVP, and he did it for you. So, like, that's a jersey that would be up there with 7 and 18. I mean, like, I would have loved him back, but, like, I think it's cool that he's going to Dallas, and I think it's cool that the whole circle of life, and obviously DeMarcus Ware came here, won a Super Bowl here. Now he gets to go to Dallas and maybe mentor some of their young guys as well.
Circle of life too. He wouldn't be in Dallas if Jerry hadn't traded Micah Parsons last season.
That's also very true. Funny enough, but I mean, like, look, obviously you would have rather had Micah Parsons than Von Miller at this point in your career, but Von Miller will do a great job in mentoring guys. He'll get you a third down rush every series, but he's not going to be a 3-4 down edge rusher anymore. Like that's just the way he is right now. And unfortunately with the Broncos, or fortunately at this point, is we have guys that are better than him right now as a third down rusher than he is. And obviously prime Vaughn was different, but now Vaughn is not better as a third down rusher. And if you're going to sign him, that's all he's going to do for you. So, yeah. I mean, for the Cowboys, it's a cool story, and I think it's awesome that he gets to go back to Texas, and where obviously he went to school at Texas A&M, and he grew up there and has chickens there, and he gets to live at home. I think that's awesome for him. So I'm not going to complain that much, but it's I'm happy for him. At least he gets to do that.
Yeah, I think it's what was gonna. There was no. I don't know if it was gonna ever work out here. Like if the Cooper situation it had gone differently, possibly, maybe I would see it. He's just giving – that's exactly what Dallas needed. They needed somebody to be able to teach the new generation of Cowboys how to pass rush and be successful as a pass rusher in the NFL. So that's more so what his role is going to be, I believe. Good for him. Hopefully he has a little bit of success. I don't think they play the Broncos, right? If it is,
it's a preseason game. Like
I was going to say that was last season when we had to worry about the Cowboys coming in here with their red hot offense. Let's talk some good news. This is good news. The Redwoods. I specifically did not wear my Outlaws hat because my Outlaws hat goes with this jersey. But the Outlaws get beat by the Redwoods in the last week of the regular season, so the Redwoods clinch a playoff spot.
This is true.
And now we get a rematch, and you're playing the same exact. Well, not the same exact guys. I did see Denver through the regular season finale. Or sitting everybody that they should have been playing?
I'm not going to say through.
No. I'm sorry. They sat players that had injuries in the last game.
That's exactly what happened. They sat there.
Wink, hint, hint.
They sat their entire defense. They sat Pat Cavanaugh, who obviously was an MVP candidate last year. They sat Jared Bernhardt, who was one of the best midfielders in the league. All these guys were injured, right? Mike Manley, JT Josh Harris, like their whole defense is brand new. But I will say a couple things. Like obviously, like it's very hard to be a team twice, and the Outlaws are a good team. This is a team that knocked us out of the playoffs last year.
Twice in 2 weeks.
Like knocked us out of going to a PLL championship and having a chance at winning it all last year, and knocked us out. And now, I mean, this weekend we have a built-in bye, which is a little weird, so no travel for your boy. But I get to go to Minnesota. Minnesota is one of my favorite places we travel to every single week or every single year. Considering I get to go to the Vikings practice facility in that gorgeous Omni Vikings hotel. Shout out, no free shout outs. But yeah, it's a fun place to be at, and Denver's a good team. But I think we've shown that we are as good as them and can be better than them. And like I said, this is a whole different season. This is a whole different season. And having our ups and downs, losing 4 straight after the All-Star game or after the All-Star break, and then winning 2 of your last 3, I think we're hitting momentum at the right time, and I think we can possibly carry this into a good momentum.
It's 13 days that separate the 2 games being played. So 13 days to figure out who they're going to insert into their lineup that they didn't play the last time. And the Redwoods have had an explosive offense this season. Now, there's been a few weeks where it's been a little bit more hot. Of a dud. But it can get really, really hot. Like 21 goals in a game, 18 goals in another. In the playoffs, you just have to get one good performance, one really solid performance this week, and then move on to the next one.
And I mean, the one good thing going our way, it's like we had 18 goals this past weekend. Their starting goalie was in the net. You know what I mean? Like that. That's a momentum. That's a momentum boost. Like the one thing Outlaws have a big question mark going into this game is who's starting in cage. Owen McElroy has been closing games for them, and he's been their backup for a long time. McDaney, who is this great goalie out of Maryland last year as a freshman, or not freshman, a rookie, and this year has been dealing with some health problems, and who knows if he's back full strength. And one thing that we have momentum, yeah, you didn't have your defense, yeah, you didn't have your some of your offensive guys, but was your faceoff guy the same that lost 6 out of every 10 faceoffs? Was the goalies is there another goalie that we don't know about that led in 18 goals? Like, is one of them not playing? You know what I mean? So it is momentum swings, but I'm excited. It's a great opportunity to spend another week together.
Yeah, all it takes is one. And I tell my youth football guys when we get to the playoffs, you don't want the season. You don't want Friday to be the last day of the season. You want to see each other on Monday for film study. Let's see each other and watch the film of this game. And if it's good or if it's bad, we'll go from there. But let's make it to another film study day. Congratulations to the Redwoods this season, making the playoffs. And we'll see what happens here in a couple weeks when we get the playoffs going in Minnesota. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to go through the best of the last year of the Far End of the Bench podcast. We have clips from our 4 top episodes. Before that, you're going to hear from 5core.com. And obviously, we have Player and Benchwarmer of the Week still coming up. So don't go anywhere here. Part of the All Gloves Off Sports Media Network, Far End of the Bench, episode 286.
Are you looking to upgrade your podcasting equipment without downgrading your wallet? Then I've got the perfect website for you. Head over to 5core.com and check out everything they have to offer for creators, podcasters, musicians, streamers, and anyone looking to level up their sound. 5core.com, based out of Bellefontaine, Ohio, has a 25-man roster of audio gear, and let me tell you, the farm system is loaded too. We're talking amplifiers, audio mixers, microphones, headphones, music stands, car audio, and all the cables and connectors you need to build your setup the right way. And this is not some random brand either. 5Core has more than 35 years experience, trusted products, great prices, and quality merchandise currently supplied to more than 65 countries worldwide. So whether you're starting your first podcast, upgrading your home studio, setting up for live events, or just tired of sounding like you're recording from the bottom of a Gatorade cooler, 5core.com is worth your time. They even have podcast bundles that can include a mixer, microphone, headphones, and a microphone stand, depending on how much money you want to invest. I've seen bundles starting as low as $29.99, and with over 900 different products, 5Core gives you options without waking your wallet and tapping it out in the first round. With an unwavering commitment to quality, innovation, and excellence, 5core.com is ready to help you sound better, record cleaner, and build the setup you've been putting off. So from OHIO, support them, support us here at All Gloves Off Sports Media, head to 5core.com and save 10%, upgrade your sound. You won't be sorry. And now back to your favorite sports podcast.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here to celebrate a little bit now. We don't normally do this, and I've finally gotten myself around to making the full videos that we needed. 7 years, going into 7 years, I think is a huge deal. Most podcasts, I don't know if you know this, fizzle out before they hit 100 episodes. We are now well over 100 past that. We're still rolling. We've had plenty of really cool experiences to talk about, teams making runs. We are going to look back at the best of the last year here. So we're going to go into some classics. And after each one, we'll be able to talk a little bit about what was going on at that point. But here we go with our first throwback. This is from episode 249, so very early into year 6. I believe this was right after the Bengals had a really heartbreaking loss. So it's good that we were talking about the AFC North. Let's see what was going down way back then.
Probably capable of this season. I was texting Jordan the entire time. I was like, this team is soft. At least this week, they were able to show me we have no fight. We have no resiliency. We don't think that we're going to be able to do this without Joe Burrow. Don't worry about winning or losing games. Let's just try and not make it as embarrassing. You don't have to pay attention to us this year. I think that was going to be the overall consensus, unless you went out and got maybe a Kirk Cousins. I don't think that he's going to be let go in Atlanta anymore because of what Penix did. There's other things that you could have done. I don't want to have my hopes up after the injury to Joe Burrow.
I will say this, like I said at the beginning of the season, you're wasting another year with your core. Frankly,
you're talking to somebody who has done that for 18 that again. Years.
You're punting on a season in week 4. That's what you're doing by starting Jake Brown every single week. Frankly, you didn't sign Hendricks to this deal to punt this season. You didn't sign T to this deal to punt this season. You didn't try to sign Shamar Stewart to a contract he didn't want. So
here's the thing, is all of those contracts are the reason why we're going to have to punt this season. Because we don't have that. That's the reason why Burrow got injured. That's the reason why we're sitting in this situation. It's a vicious cycle. We're eating our own tail.
It's not logical. And that's what makes the Bengals one of the worst organizations in football, because it's not logical.
Not just football. Baseball, basketball, hockey, fucking badminton.
There's some bad basketball franchises. I don't know much about baseball.
If Mike Brown knew about crypto, he'd be doing what Ballmer's doing with his fake fucking companies to pay off some of these contracts.
I tell you right now, Mike Brown wishes he was smart enough to pay T. Higgins the money that he did Kawhi Leonard.
We need to get him out. Here's the thing. We needed the family ownership for the NFL to get to where it is now. The NFL is so big, you can't have family ownership anymore. You need the money. I want the Target CEO to buy. I know that he's from Minnesota. If Niko gets the Walmart CEO to buy his team.
Or Bezos. Throw Bezos in there. Because
he in the same lineup as Ellie De La Cruz, who's 6'7", is the fastest guy on your team, can hit the ball 600. Dude,
I had to do it. I'm sorry.
I will walk off. Niko, it's all day. I thought this was the one. I thought this was the one place I was safe.
You walked right into that. I didn't even say anything. I said to go like this. You knew what I was.
I thought I was safe, Niko. I thought I was safe. I wasn't around a 12. I wasn't around a 12-year-old. I thought I was okay.
For those just listeners, 6'7", I did the meme. Jamie was disgusted on video.
We were doing a
You walked right into it.
It's just so bad. People are like, I can't say it that much. How many times did you say 1738 when you were going to school? Ah, baby. It's the same shit. It's the same shit, just different words. No, that was the most domination that I've ever felt. Like I said, I felt like a cuck when I was sitting there. Jordan Mason, you're scoring 100. You scored 25 points for my fantasy team by running for 140 yards and 2 touchdowns.
I don't think you realize why I've sat and played fantasy football as much as I have since 2017. I think before 2017, I maybe was in 1 or 2 leagues. After the Broncos got bad, I needed something to root for. I needed it badly, and this is what fantasy football, and now I have 10 leagues.
It felt really, really dirty because then the Steelers are my defense, so that I'm having to root for the Pittsburgh Steelers against the New England Patriots. Like, go concuss Drake May. Get that interception. TJ. It was disgusting. Poor showing on my part, just like poor showing on the Bengals. Let's talk about your team. We've shed on my team enough. Let's talk about your team. You're sitting at 1-2.
Oh, it's just as bad. I'll take it back. It wouldn't be just as bad. I just think it feels just as bad.
Record-wise, it is as bad.
3-0. You should technically you should be 3-0.
Niko,
how many seconds? Yeah, I think I'm about to ask the same question. How many seconds have the Broncos led or have been in a deficit in the fourth quarter? 0.
That's what it's on here. It's on here. They have not trailed a second in the fourth quarter the last 2 weeks. But how many days has it been since you've held sole ownership of first place in the AFC West?
Oh, it's been a long time. And look,
it was 11,000 days. It's 8 years. 2016.
It's gotten bad. And see when you add on to 2 bad losses, and look, it's not 2 bad losses against the teams you played against, right? It's 2 teams that are good, like I said. It's 2 bad losses in the chances of you should have won both games. And I'm not sitting here being a Broncos fan being like, oh, my bias, we should have won both games. It's factually correct we should have won both games because you had the ball with the time on the clock to win both games, and you didn't execute. If I have to sit here and watch another fucking game-winning field goal go through the uprights, I turned off the game last week. I didn't watch the last field goal. I knew it was in. I said, "Yep, moving on to something else. Let's put on a movie." It was Batman, National Batman Day Sunday. I threw on a Batman movie and watched that instead of the last field goal. I said, "Yep, I'm throwing that on. Can't do this."
That was the most fun going back through and seeing some of these because that's after the Bengals got whooped by the Minnesota Vikings, and obviously the Broncos lost on a last-second field goal to the Chargers. Your team went on to go to the AFC Championship, and my team just continued to get smacked around every week. But I remember that week now specifically. I was like, I think I have to say the Minnesota Vikings defense owns me before I say anything about them. Like that was I now have the vivid picture in my mind of where we were back then. That was not fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's very, very funny when you hear like, oh, you haven't had sole ownership of first place in the AFC West.
That was the big
days.
thing. 11,000 days.
11,000 days,
years.
whatever it was, and obviously we won the AFC West literally. And then here a year later, we're also even talking about Kawhi Leonard's situation still being ongoing. So it's very funny how things come.
Hey, Mike, and I will also say, I said Mike Brown will never get off his pocketbook. He traded our 10th overall pick for Dexter Lawrence this year. So maybe he's listening in some weird roundabout way.
It worked out. It worked out one way. So he's got that going for him.
This next episode, it's a little bit further on. It's about 3 months after the episode that you just saw the highlights from. We are now in the thick of the end of the regular season of the NFL, getting towards the playoffs. So we'll see if Niko still feels the same about his Broncos. But here is our highlight from episode 260 of this last year. In a different setting than I was expecting to be. And I think that there was different emotions and different viewpoints that come from all of it. So go ahead.
No matter what would happen, we lost a hero.
It was good. I cried so much before that match.
I was with coworkers, so I couldn't really cry.
I was by myself in my truck. I just admitted it to all of the bench warmers.
But man, everything just flew through. And we could be talking about the ending and talking about what the hell happened and all this or anything. And look, whether you like it or not, whether he tapped out, this man did everything. He did everything. There's not one extra thing that you could have asked for him to do. Unfortunately, the world of wrestling, and I knew this before, I didn't think you tap out, but I knew this before, you usually go out on your sword.
We both said that he was more than likely going to put somebody over on the way out, because
that's something he never did. He didn't do it to Nexus. He didn't do it to a lot of guys.
But that was because he was still there. He was still the top star. We don't have to get into that right now. But I think for the WWE, don't take a look at the entirety. I will come out and admit I was upset about the finish. I was mad that he tapped out. I knew that he was going to lose, but I was like, that was the one thing you could have saved for me, was that he told me never give up, and then he did give up. So I was upset about that. But the next day, the first thing that comes up on my For You page is he met with a 3-time cancer survivor 3 hours before his match and made his day. And he does that. That's just who he is. And that's what the character
is in the history of the entire company.
And it reminded me, and my mom did a good job of reminding me of this too. She put it the best way that I had heard it explained up until that point. Gunther was taking it so much more seriously at that moment of the match because Cena got his Hulk up moment. Cena broke out of it, and then it was when he broke out of it and Gunther just pulled him back and started elbowing him in the face. You saw, I was like, man, I want to have Peacemaker season 3 coming out soon. I've said that this is it, and I've given everything that I can possibly give, and who knows, the next time he puts me in the sleeper hold, maybe it is something it's all of those things. Bring in the humanity to the person that you never thought was going to have it.
I did not see the tap out as a giving up. This is how I saw it. As someone who watched, like I said, I'm going through now and watching everything from this past year because the whole retirement tour, every match. I just finished the Rumble. I'm going to do Elimination Chamber next, and then get to going through everything else. I sat there and I watched him tap out, and I did not see him give up. I saw him relinquish the company.
He's moving on.
I saw it as a passing of the torch, I've done everything. I did everything I could. There's nothing more I can do.
Being told to leave the room because remember after Edge beat Cena for the title, they were doing the live sex celebration. My parents were like,
"You can't watch this."
No. I was like, "Oh, come on!"
That was one of those things where you're sitting there being like, "What the hell is he watching?" It's professional wrestling, baby.
It's wrestling.
I love Michael Cole. He's the best, and the line hit perfectly. Tonight, professional wrestling beats sports entertainment. And look, I'll be honest with you, sports entertainment may have died with him. I don't know. We see you have to be an elite wrestler nowadays. You have to have an elite on the mic. There isn't really guys like LA Knight, right? Elite on the mic hasn't been really skyrocketed, right? Guys like that are rare commodity nowadays with it. And like I said, I sat here and I look back at that video. Damn, I was like, it's weird. 12 years later, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, this dude still makes me just feel something. And that's all you ever want from a wrestler. If a wrestler doesn't make you feel something, they'll go nowhere in this business. They'll go nowhere. That's the one thing that wrestlers have to do. They have to be good on the mic. They have to be good in the ring. More than anything, they have to make you feel something, or who cares?
They tell stories, and it's a soap opera. It is cheesy when your mom turns on Channel 4 during the daytime and watches Days of Our Lives. It's overacting and all of that, but there are lessons to be learned in the stories. And that was the thing that I loved most about Cena. I like the rapper. That was when I was in my 8 Mile phase. I loved Eminem, so I liked the lyrics. But I stayed a Cena fan because of the hustle, loyalty, respect, the rise above hate. It was just, not that I'm a negative person, but sometimes things happen and you look at it in a down way, but it's like never give up, hustle, loyalty, respect. You're always working harder than somebody that you just work as hard as you possibly can, because who knows what's going to show up on the other side. And that was the virtues and the things.
There was not a harder worker in the business.
No,
it's a night and day.
I wasn't going to get the ending to the story that I wanted, so it was tough for me. But
yeah,
this was fun.
Like I said, we haven't done top 5 since the summer, and we thought we'd just throw it back today because it was worth it. And like I said, we have only one thing the same, and I think all 9 of our matches that we picked are all something that if you've never been into wrestling, you have to watch. Like, number 1 for me, it's my favorite match of all time. There's nothing that tops this in terms of moment, in terms of everything around it. John Cena versus CM Punk, Money in the Bank 2011. I don't need to set the scene too much, but let's just say CM Punk walked out with the WWE title that night, out of the company, quote unquote, out of the company. I know, but quote unquote walked out of the company.
He wore the Yankees pinstripes.
It was one of the most electric.
The promos
in Chicago.
Yep.
The FUs, the booing Cena out, like you thought he got booed bad during the heel run. Watch that, and then you'll realize, damn, that was crazy. So that was my number 1. Like I said, my favorite match all time. In terms of all time, there's nothing that I could.
The second one you put right, I think, is the only one that rivals the hostility.
And like I said, the hostility I love more than anything. John Cena versus Rob Van Dam, ECW One Night Stand 2006. For those that don't know what the hell this is, John Cena walks in ECW, which is another company, and faced their.
The Cena, that was you'll appreciate this. So we've had 2 days where I've had students at my new school and I have my room set up, and on my first bookshelf, I'll put a picture in next week's episode if people are interested. I have all of my wrestling figures, and a guy walked in. I have my cousin got me a sign of the WrestleMania days in Philadelphia because he was living out there, and I cut off the top. So you got I think it was WrestleMania 35 logo. And a kid walked by and he goes, "You a WWE fan?" It's like, "Yeah." "Who's your favorite?" I go, "John Cena, still." And John Cena. He goes, "I like Shawn Michaels." And I go, "Look, up there next to the John Cena, there's a little Shawn Michaels up there." He's like, "That's fun. That's so sweet." It's like, "Yep, wrestling. if I'm ever gonna stop being a middle school teacher, I'll stop watching WWE. Until that day, I will continue watching WWE till the day I die.
I mean, I have still one of my favorite presents I've ever gotten. My brother got me for Christmas last year. Got me a signed Funko Pop of John Cena. It's still out of away from the rest of my wall because I have a huge wall over here, but away from the rest, so it doesn't get any sunlight, so it doesn't move. But yeah, it's still one of the coolest things. And John Cena, it means a lot. It's very funny. I mean, like I don't remember half.
We lost a hero.
I don't remember.
I saw your reaction there. It's like we lost a hero today. No matter how you slice it.
I don't remember most of the things I say on this because I mean you have to go back and listen. But I hate listening to my voice on our listening stuff. I just think I sound weird. But listening back to that when I said we've lost a hero, I could not help but laugh. Like that even got me.
It's
I'm like,
still
wow,
real to me, damn it!
I was like, I can't believe I just said that, but I did.
Yeah, it's fun to go back, especially on the memory lane. Now I'm getting into the playoffs. So this is when we were making our picks for the NFL playoffs last season. And it'll be hilarious now with everything the way that it worked out. Because, again, the Broncos won the AFC or were in the AFC Championship. And at this point, we were talking about our AFC Championship picks, and you had the Broncos nowhere near anything. And I had the Broncos actually playing in the AFC Championship and making it to the Super Bowl. So this is from episode 262 of the Far End of the Bench from this last year. Here we go.
So in a year, it's crazy.
In a year, it was just
the last time I'll use that joke for the new year.
Taking so much time. I do want to mention, big shout out to the Benchwarmers. And if you're not one, make sure you're subscribed, following at FeOTB Pod. But we have reached the 800 subscriber threshold. So we appreciate that. 802 officially right now. So make sure that you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. If you're watching us on Twitter, go check out the YouTube channel. That's where we post clips. But anywhere that you follow us, you'll be able to.
Like, he was the number one coach available on the market until Harbaugh's name came out. Like for whatever reason, Mike Brown and the Bengals think that Zach Taylor is their Mike Tomlin and their John Harbaugh. I'm sorry. Like, don't have the success of both those coaches.
There is no culture in Cincinnati.
There is no culture.
Absolutely none. And that was proven in Cincinnati on Sunday when the Cleveland Browns beat you by a walk-off field goal. You let Shedeur Sanders, who everybody knows in this rookie season for Shedeur, he finished, I think, with a 12 passer rating. It is the lowest that they have ever had recorded by a guy who's started more than 3 games. And that team still beats you. And we have the sack record that's been broken against us. We have Myles Garrett being carried off the field after he sacks Joe Burrow for the 23rd time, for his 23rd of the season. And it's just like, it's comical. It is comical. It's Bush League. It is true Bush League.
Look, I understand you're probably pissed about it and how much they did the celebration and everything. I'm sorry, Bengals. I'm sorry, Zach Taylor.
I'm not sitting here like Jamar Chase. Don't worry. I'm not Jamar Chase.
You could have stopped it. That's all I'm going to say.
No, we couldn't. We couldn't stop Myles
Garrett here in Colorado that also got snubbed from Team Canada and Mackenzie Blackwood and Scott.
I was just about to move to the goaltenders because how in the world does Darcy Kemper, of all the people in the world in Canada that can play for Team Canada goaltender, how is Darcy Kemper in the top 3?
I don't understand it all. I don't understand in the slightest.
You have the top 2 goaltenders in goals against average and save percentage in Colorado right now. Blackwood and Wedgwood.
Sitting at home, enjoying an Olympic break off. That both play for your team, by the way. I will say this. Logan Thompson will be the starting goal minder. So that won't make really that much of a difference. He's been great for Washington.
Darcy Kemper's just getting a voucher, man. He's just getting a stipend.
Exactly. Scott Wedgwood, a guy who's been around the league for so long, playing the best hockey of his career. Kenzie Blackwood obviously has been injury prone, so that's a different conversation. Maybe why you don't put him. But the conversation is Scott Wedgwood has been incredible for the best team in hockey. Bennington, I understand he did good for you in the Four Nations. I understand that you owe him something. But what I saw the Avalanche do to this fucking human being after the Olympic rosters came out, Bennington, I think this was, what was it, Thursday?
It was the
night game. The St. Louis Blues came into town. And for anyone that, like I said, probably not even covering on the Variety Sports Network because they suck so bad. Like, Blues are horrible. Bennington, less than 24 hours after getting called to the Canadian Olympic roster, went against Mackenzie Blackwood and then proceeded to let up 4 goals in 5 minutes. Welcome to the fucking show.
Did he have any water bottles to throw?
Welcome to the fucking show. And then ended up giving up 5 goals. on fucking like I understand Bennington is it did things good for you and the Blues suck and all this, but like the slap in the face to Wedgwood and Blackwood, got two guys that have worked their whole career to have this opportunity. Who knows if Wedgwood probably won't ever have this opportunity again because of how old he is, but Blackwood may have it again in 4 years. But I just sit here and I'm just like, thank you, Canada. You're giving us an opportunity. You're giving us a chance.
You're leaving the door open. Your
Thank
five hole.
Thank you very much.
What's the first thing a goalie learns? You protect the 5 hole. You don't let the easy ones go through the 5 hole.
Because he has done it, I can take that Super Bowl step. So I'll take the Rams or the Seahawks.
It's going very well, and right now it's going to look fairly similar, but we have our Super Bowl predictions, early Super Bowl predictions. What are we thinking here? You have the Bills taking on the Rams in Levi Stadium for Super Bowl 60. What are we thinking?
Yeah, I'm going Bills to win the Super Bowl. Sorry. I don't know. I'm sorry, Buffalo fans. This may sound – close your ears if you don't hear this. If not now, when? I'm saying that again. If not now, when? This is as golden of an opportunity because Drake May is only going to get better. Bo Nix is only going to get better. You may see Joe Burrow back. You may see Patrick Mahomes back. You will definitely see Lamar Jackson back at some point. Like, we'll see all these great quarterbacks come back. If not now, I don't know when they will happen for Buffalo. Plain and simple. They have the defense. They have the Joey Bosa. They have the great pass rush. They have a very good running game. And not Dalvin Cook. Sorry, James Cook, brother James Cook. Their only problem is their offense weapons outside of the receiver position. Which, by the way, Josh Allen just throws to his two tight ends anyways. He'll throw the Dawson Knox and Dawson Kincaid every single time. So I think Josh Allen versus Matt Stafford would be a very fun Super Bowl. I'll just give the nod to Josh Allen.
I'm going with the experienced quarterback as well in my matchup. I have the Rams beating the Broncos in Super Bowl 60 because different. It's not the same caliber defense that we saw from Denver in 2015, but it's also different than the team that you would be seeing because the Rams are explosive on offense and you'll have 2 receivers that you have to stop, but it's the defense that's going to carry them. And it's the defense gets going to put pressure on Bo Nix and Sean Payton. And what we've seen from this team outside of a few very fluky situations, they were amazing situations and proved that they're able to win, but 16-point comeback with 2 minutes left in the game, however long was left, that's a fluke. That doesn't just consistently happen. You have to be able to put yourself in that situation. And like I said, I've felt the pain of losing to the Rams in the Super Bowl. And not that I want you to feel the same pain as me. It's just like fresh in my mind. It would hurt way too bad for you to be able to celebrate a Super Bowl over the Rams when I'm sitting there like, could have done the same thing.
I would chop at the bits of that. Obviously, like, make the Super Bowl, man. I don't. It's huge. The one thing, it's McVay versus Peyton, and it's going to be a great head coaching matchup.
I did not realize I was going to be that close. I was a snowstorm and a broken ankle away from, and obviously the Seahawks being better than anybody anticipated because we talked about them. And I think that you had them losing in like round 1 or 2, and I had them.
I had them losing the Bills. Is what it was. Like that's.
Oh yeah,
it was like we had
you did have them. You had them in the Super Bowl. I had them losing in the conference championship to the Rams. So they turned out way better than anybody anticipated. But a broken ankle and a snowstorm in Colorado, away from having at least one representative that I predicted at the very beginning of the playoffs making it to the Super Bowl.
We didn't get either one, which is even funny. Like we didn't hit nail either one. I mean, look, even a full year. Even less than a full year later, thank you, Canada, for keeping.
I was gonna say that was about a month before we started playing Olympic hockey games, and you said it's like thank you for leaving the door open, and that door was
wide fucking open because of Jordan Bennington. If they started Logan Thompson, it could have been way different.
Freebird.
Yeah, it could have been way different. It's very, very funny to look back on that and look at the roster decisions. Like I don't think
my phone literally just started playing it as I said that because I have updated. Software update on it, so I have now Freebird ready to play when we're
very
done.
Very funny hearing back those takes. Like, yeah, it's almost like we know some things and we know what's going on.
We pay attention. We pay attention. This next clip is from one that if you're newly listening to us or if you've found us through All Gloves Off Sports Media, it will be very similar. But bringing on one of our guys, Darren Breyer from the Fat Boy Fadeaway Sports Podcast. Another big personality of our former network, the Variety Sports Network. By the way, you were saying that about the Blues, not saying about the Variety Sports Network.
No.
You were saying that they didn't cover the Blues because they suck so bad. I just wanted to make sure because people could take that and construe it in different ways. But this is
Variety was great. They were great to us and they were great people over there. The Blues still suck though.
Yeah, no, the Blues. I will never say anything good about the Blues. And we are going to hear. So this was when we did our verses of our top 5 sports memories. So one of them is going to be when you were curb stomped on the sideline in Nevada. We're also going to see what other sports moments made it into our top 5. But this is with our good friend Darren Breyer of the Fat Boy Fadeaway Sports Podcast from episode 283. I wrote it down. I was like, he's a Bay Area fan, so obviously we'll talk about the Warriors, especially when we get to LeBron, which we're going to get to. But he still kept the teams that left. I don't know why. You're still an A's fan. You're still a Raiders fan, even though they both moved to Las Vegas.
I can't root for the Giants and Niners. It's just not in the blood. Man.
It would make your life so much. Well, I don't know. Would that make your life easier or harder with Brian Johnson?
I would definitely make it a little easier. I hate those teams. I can't just be like, I love you. It just doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. I mean, Broncos and Niners, right?
It was probably like the AFC Championship. Were you rooting for the Patriots or were you rooting for the Broncos? Or
you talk about the ultimate lose-lose right there.
Were you just rooting for the field to open up like Gotham, the Dark Knight Rises? You're like, yep, nope, the game doesn't need to finish.
I didn't even feel bad that their quarterback was hurt. It didn't even cross my mind. You know?
We're gonna go. We have our top 5. Let's go starting with our lowest moment, and I'm gonna say this one is personal. Just you didn't agree with me with that Rockies conversation that we had, Niko, but I know you remember the brawl you, Gabe, and I got in Vegas. I think it was you. You were the defensive end on the far side of the Las Vegas team that we were playing.
It was a special teams where I think I like.
Either way, you were the first. You were the closest to the sideline, and Gabe Courts, who you and I played growing up with, you played a lot longer with him than I did. We were the only ones close enough to the sideline. So in our verses, we're starting things off here. I'm going with the time that Niko, Gabe, and myself cleared a Las Vegas, Nevada sideline. That was a home team. That was a team from Vegas. We were playing in a national youth tournament out there. Niko's trying to curb stomp him.
I know, not tried. I did get curb stomped.
You got curb stomped. Hey, I'm slow. I'm fat and I'm slow.
I felt those cleats in me, okay? I felt it.
I'm fat and I'm slow, so I couldn't get over it. Yeah, no, I had you on my shoulder, and I was carrying you kind of out of the sideline as we were going, and Gabe was over there because Gabe is always getting involved in things that he probably didn't have any business being involved in because he's a little guy. But, hey, we cleared that sideline. I got you back over to our sideline, and I think like 2 plays after that, the referees were like, yeah, this is over. This team from Colorado's up by 50. I think where this game is over.
And years later, I will say I started that. I instigated the fuck out of that. I was chirping so bad, and I was pushing, and no, I did. My biggest problem was when I did it on their sideline. That was my biggest problem, and I learned very quickly not to do it on their sideline.
Here's the thing: I didn't. Whether you were in the right or the wrong, I was going to pull you out anyway.
Was at the game in Oakland there with it. I was at the last Oakland A's game in Coliseum, but like for me, Niko, that game 6 where Clay hit 11 threes. Like, I mean, like as a Warriors fan, like at that point, you're just like, we've run this incredible run. We're going to lose 3-2. And he comes out of nowhere and just
I think you're muted there, Jimmy.
You hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I can't hear you though. That's hold on. Here we go. Yeah. Speaker.
I can hear you now.
All right. Yeah. No, that was a very fun episode to do, especially talking about the youth football stories and everything like that. Go check out the episodes. We'll make sure that we hit it good. That is the end of year 6. Now we're into year 7. So hopefully everybody continues to subscribe, follow us, all that good stuff. We will continue to have the content for you. We are getting into the final part of our episode now, and we're going to get into our awards. So I'll let you go first. Who do you have for player and benchwarmer of the week this week?
Player of the week, I went with Islam Makhachev. Another dominated performance over Ian Machado Gary in Philly. Funny enough, I was there too this past weekend. It was a dominated performance. He had this spinning back kick that just almost took his head off. I don't know how Gary was able to do that. But Makachev is a guy. I don't know what the pound for pound looks like anymore, but he's definitely a guy that's either at the top or number 2 at minimum. He's been dominating the division for years and years and years, and he's not stopping now, which is so funny because you look at him post fight, it looks like he barely did anything. It was just
he is number 1 right now, listed on CBS Sports, which is the new founding spot for them because that's where their all their events are housed.
Yeah.
So Islam Makhachev number 1, Alexander Volkanovski number 2, Peter Yan number 3, pound for pound for the
that's kind of, I mean that top 3 is what a fall from grace that is all I'm gonna say. No offense, Peter Yan, but that is a fall from grace to have him be the number 3 guy. Is all I'm gonna say. But yeah, Makhachev dominated performance all out. Just handled Gary and made light work of him. My bench over the week. I'll have an honorable mention here after this because we got to touch on it here a second because my team made a trade today that I'm not very happy with. But Jeannie Buss, for those that weren't in the news of professional sports and the business side of it, the Buss family tried to sell the Lakers, and for those that are keeping track, the Buss family owns about 17%. You have to own 17% of the NBA franchise to be able to hold a seat in, I believe it's in the owners.
Governors. They're not owners. They're governors.
The governors meetings. You have to own at least 17% of the team to do that. And the Buss family, who obviously Jeannie Buss's dad owned the team and owned the team for many years, obviously during the primetime Lakers and all that. There's 6 kids. Or 6 kids. And after Dr. Buss passed away, he wrote it that Jeannie Buss is going to be the head of it and run it and be able to do all of that. And let's put it this way. 5 out of the 6 brothers and sisters of Jeannie Buss said, yep, we're selling. and the news broke on I believe it was maybe it was on Sunday or Saturday. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, it was late last week.
It was late last week, and 5 of the 6 of the siblings all said, "Yep, we're gonna sell a team." And then Jeannie Buss said, "No, the hell we're not," which is very very funny to me.
You thought.
Because this is because I watched the show and it's a very House of the Dragon type of thing where it's like, I run the team. Nope, I run the team. Well, Dad said I'm running the team, so I get to make decisions on it. And that's exactly what Jeannie Buss is doing in Rhaenyra Targaryen level of doing it. It's as a Nuggets fan, it's very very funny seeing that ownership problems, but it doesn't really matter because if they do sell it, it'll be sold to somebody that will run the organization perfectly. And be just fine off. But it was very, very funny seeing that because obviously I just finished House of the Dragon, the latest season, and sitting being like, yeah, well, Jeannie Buss's dad, Dr. Buss, said that Jeannie could run the team. So that's why she's running the team. And you can't sell a team because of that. And well, Rhaenyra could be queen because her dad said she could be, but no one else believes her. It's very, very funny, the parallels across the two.
And before we move off the NBA, because I don't have anything for the NBA on my awards, what happened with the Nuggets? Because you just mentioned they made a trade, obviously.
Peyton Watson is no longer a Nugget. Peyton Watson is a Cleveland Cavalier. We traded him today for a box of cookies, and not even the good Girl Scout ones. We're talking about the cheap ones from fucking Walmart that aren't even that taste like hockey pucks. The news broke about an hour before we started recording, and I looked at it and I saw the details and I said, you know what, that makes sense. I was like, I hate it that we drafted a guy in the end of the first round about 4 or 5 years ago, whatever it may be, and he was a 3.9 points per game scorer in college. Very low. Very, very low, not a very good player. And we molded into a decent three-point shooter, a very good all-around defender, and a guy that's a big pivotal part of the team. And then a couple years later, because of your inability and what Calvin Booth did to this team and the stupid contracts he handed out to Zeke Naji, Christian Brown, and company, you have to get rid of him for a 2031. That is 5 years.
And we couldn't even attach a Zeke Naji contract to this deal.
Which I don't know what it had to look like or what it dealt with. But let's put it this way: Nuggets could have paid $22 million per year. They would have paid taxes, and it would have been really rough.
We mentioned it the last time you were on the show. They're already looking at a $30 million tax bill.
Yeah, like this helps them not have to deal with that, but they're still over it. That means another deal has to be put in place. Like I sit here and like, all right, well, I guess we've just said Jokic is going to go play somewhere else then. Is that
It's looking more and more like a possibility because is he really going to sign next year and give up the twilight of his career for it is the most amount of money that he can make.
He's just content with living here, which he may be, but he does seem like a competitive guy. It's very, very frustrating, very, very annoying because I sit here and I'm just like, it's a deal you had to make, but my God, if you don't have another deal in place to fix this bench, whether it be DeMar DeRozan, whether it be trying to trade that first round pick you got, because like think about this. One thing that the one thing that this deal does for you, when you get a 2031 first round pick, the bird rights, or not the bird rights, I can't remember the name exactly for it, but the rights for you not to be able to trade your 2031 pick are gone. So, because there's a rule in the NBA, I believe they implemented this after the Brooklyn Nets Celtics trade, or maybe it was before. I can't remember exactly. But you cannot trade your first round pick in consecutive years. It is a known thing until at least draft day, and you trade back. And the Nuggets, this obviously traded their 2030 pick for Cam in the Cam Johnson trade, right? You traded the 2028 pick for. I can't even remember now. Maybe it was the Aaron Gordon trade. I can't remember exactly. And your 2031 was the next one you had available to trade, basically. And you sit here and now you have that ability. You have to package your draft pick for somebody. Somebody. Because that 2030, there's 31 other teams in the NBA that if you got to convince one of them to say that 2030 round pick won't mean anything because Jokic will be retired. Or he'll be playing for that fucking Greek team where the owner says, "I want to come play."
Nikos.
Yeah, whatever. Like he'll go play for that team when the owner said, "Yeah, I need my big fish, and I'm going to go sign Jokic one day." Like that's the deal that's going to be made. I'll say this is like Jokic satisfied me. Okay, I would love another championship. I want nothing more than another championship. I will never forget that moment of us winning a championship. And if that's the only one I get, then so be it. He's still my favorite player of all time, still the greatest Nugget of all time. That will never change that. What's very frustrating is the fact that we cannot consistently just shoot ourselves in the fucking foot every single year. Like I hope that there's a deal out there where you trade Christian Brown, you trade Zignaji, and you trade this 2031 first round pick and you get something. Get fucking something. Where you get a good, maybe a KCP level. KCP's washed, so that's no longer the question. A KCP level player and then a backup ball handler or a backup four or a backup center, whatever it may be in the market because this team is going nowhere and in the West, that's just getting better every single fucking day, getting better, and you're just going backwards. And in the prime of your career, Calvin Booth, who said he did nothing wrong and that he was great for the team and did all the right decisions, just when he piggybacked Tim Connolly's ass, it's very frustrating.
Well, your owner did come out and say the goal is not to win a championship in Jokic's window that he has left; it's to win as many games as possible in the window that Jokic has left.
I mean, that's even more frustrating. But I mean, like I sit here and I just, if I'm Nikola Jokic, why would I stick around? Like I think
go race your horses in Serbia. You made plenty of money to live comfortably in Serbia for the rest of your life.
I'll say this: I think the nail in the coffin would be trading Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon. I think those are the two that would keep him around. If you trade one of them or both of them, there's no fucking shot he's around. I'll tell you that right. There's no shot. He is going to, dare I say, the fucking Lakers or going somewhere east or somewhere else and going to go just sign for a free agent there and we'll get nothing in return and be SOL. That's the biggest worry is that this team is like forced a bad hand now. And like I said, no Jamal Murray, no Aaron Gordon on this roster. Jamal Murray is your next best player, right? And AG, yeah, he's banged up, but he's the heart.
He's your third best player and probably the most emotionally important.
He's the leader of the locker room, the leader of the franchise, and the face of the team. Like obviously outside Jokic, but like a guy that everyone
Mr.
loves.
Nugget, the guy that ran through the streets of Denver after winning the championship with no shirt on and still is like uniform shorts. Like that guy loves Colorado.
Exactly. It's like if you get rid of those two players, he's gone.
Yeah.
And that's a very fucking sickening lump in my stomach that I'm sitting here because like I said, if he becomes a Laker and if we trade him to the Lakers, I'm gonna write off basketball for a while. I'm not gonna watch basketball for a while.
That would be okay with me, because then we could spend some more time on college football or something.
You're gonna be hearing a lot of hockey content out of me. It's all I'm gonna say. This is like
and the hockey doesn't really look that much better, but it
looks a lot better than this. I'll tell you that much. Okay, that team at least like was the President's Trophy team that could arguably go back to Stanley Cup with the same roster and win it. Okay, so this team has no shot in the West at this point, unless something happens. So that's it's bad times to be a Nuggets fan.
That is a tough bit of news that we had to break for you. My awards go to here we go. There we go. And we go. Joshua Baez, the St. Louis Cardinal. So again, shout out to the old Variety Sports Network guys. You guys know what you're doing out there. I don't know if you know this. He hit 3 home runs in his first 3 professional at-bats. They left him in for the 4th, and I believe he popped out. But he went 3 for 3 in his first ever 3 MLB at-bats. That has not been done since 1964. So Joshua Baez, what he was able to do, and he did it at Wrigley Field. He was playing on the road, and he had 3 at-bats for his first 3 in the pros, and he went yard in all of them. And I was listening to PCA talk about some of those games, and he's like, yeah, I kind of gave him a courtesy run on the first one, but those other 2 were freaking rockets. Like, they were so far out of the park, it didn't even matter. So Joshua Baez got my player of the week, being the first player to hit 3 home runs in his debut since the 1960s. And I'm going to go with Ian Gary. I could say this is for all of the other stuff that people hear about him, and like the book that his wife wrote and all of that kind of stuff. It's mainly for what Dana White came out and said in his press conference. There's no killer instinct there. You hit Islam Makhachev with a wheel kick in the 5th round. You didn't follow that up with a flurry. You're down. You should know. If your corner's not telling you at that point that you're down on the scorecards and you need to go for a knockout to win this thing, you need to find new corner people. But I don't think that was the case. Ian Gary could have and possibly should have won the belt from the greatest pound-for-pound fighter in the UFC at this point, and he just didn't have it. And that was pointed out by the UFC president.
I think
there's not much for you to stand on right now.
I think should have is a strong word. I think he could have. I think that's the key word. Could have.
He didn't make the moves after he hit that big shot. He didn't go in for the kill. Like when you play the UFC video game, and I know we're breaking this down to video games and it's not real life and all of the fist fighting things that could go. You follow that up with a couple big shots. You see if you can make the referee stop it a little bit earlier than it should have been. That's your only chance. You should know at that point. You had no chance if it goes to the scorecards. You had one good round. One good round out of 4. One good round out of 5 doesn't win you a belt.
No, it does not. Yeah, that's what Makhachev does. He thinks you can win, and then it takes you to the deep depths of hell, like Habib used to do.
Yeah, it was a good showing from him. We appreciate everybody that's tuned in, and now we are celebrated. We've celebrated year 6. We're into year 7 now. We have plenty more where that came from. The Broncos just had a huge preseason debut with a big win. We'll see what happens with this season. Hopefully everybody continues to follow us and subscribe at FeOTB Pod. The new thing this year is you can follow us through the All Gloves Off Sports Media Network. So if you want to watch our episodes on Friday instead of Thursday, make sure you subscribe to them and follow them as well. But that was kind of fun going back and seeing some of the old takes. Like you said, you don't listen to all of them back, and it's been a while since I've heard some of those older ones, like the 240s and 260s, and going back through is like, there's now I get it. And by the way, we said we were at 802 subscribers at the start of this calendar year. We're now at 845, so we're continuing to go up from there. If any of those moments caught your attention, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Tell us where you started following us from and all of that good stuff, because that was fun to put together, but that was also fun to have coming through the screen. And I hope
and more importantly, if you were there for the last year and beginning of last year and you saw all that and you saw some of those videos that came out this time last year, don't worry. Jimmy will be running the Soup Mile again this year because he came in last place. So don't worry. Those will be those.
I already made. Everybody in the league knows you forced me. I was supposed to be relegated because when you finished last in 2 straight seasons, you're supposed to be relegated.
The thing is, I told Jimmy he's in a cursed spot because that spot has been last place the last 4 years.
Yeah.
And the person he took over, it also was in last place, and they retired. But I told him, like, you got to stick it around because you're getting better at this.
I'm the guaranteed finish last, and he'll do the punishment. He'll make that guy go run the mile in the suit.
I think it's the
There's
last.
not even a track to run the mile anymore, Niko. How are we going to do this?
We'll find a treadmill or something. Is probably what we're leaning towards. We'll figure it out. So, but yeah, so those videos will be coming out shortly. The message was sent today about the league setting up. So the things are moving with the fantasy football world.
Yeah, fantasy football, regular season football is coming back. We have week 0 of the college football season starting not this upcoming weekend, but the weekend after. So we'll make sure that we hit that. Hopefully everybody enjoyed episode 286. Continue to rock with us. We will be back again with more sports nonsense next week. But for myself, Jimmy Pilato, my co-host Niko Bryant, thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you next time.
Peace.
If you don't stay down and you never quit, come on over here and sit on the far end of the bench.